What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Crazy Ant Farm. We got the one and only Mandy Moore coming on the show. Not that Mandy Moore.
Nope, not her, not her. But extraordinary in her own right.
Yes.
The choreographer for La La Land and Silver Linings Playbook, and of course Zoe's extraordinary playlist.
Yes,
so,
I mean, she has been a part of so many phenomenal things. Oscars, Emmys, like you said, Silver Linings Playbook, Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. You guys know we are in love with this show right now.
And
so.
she's all 80s.
Yes.
She's all about the 80s, so you know.
Exactly. People are going to love this interview, especially the up-and-comers who are trying to do it in a different way. Like, especially if you're a background dancer or anything like that, she's got some great advice for you. And I mean, it's just so fun. This is a fun interview.
Hell yeah.
But that is later on in the show. Now, let's get a little crazy. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Crazy Ant Farm. Holy moly, we're on episode 111 this week.
111.
Holy crap.
They're just rolling along, man. They're like
know.
flying.
And this is a special one because we got our forever guest coming back on. Here she is, Rebecca Kennedy.
What's up, Rebecca?
Hi, guys. How are you?
Good.
Living the dream. Living the dream.
We're breaking the rules a little bit. It's like every 13 episodes, but we broke the rules this time because, you know, you got some stuff to talk about, and we wanted to make sure we got that in there. So welcome back.
Finally. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely our forever guest. And by the way, wow, the response to your last time on the show with the big 100th and the
huge.
co-hosting, we were just hammered with emails about when she co-hosting again,
Yeah.
when she co-hosting again. So guesting is not enough anymore,
Exactly.
Rebecca. Apparently now you are part of the team and you are a co-host now. So
And there's no pressure, you know.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Oh my gosh. So, but thank you. I mean, you were a genuine huge part of the 100th episode and have made it a big success, and we really appreciate that.
Definitely.
Oh, well, thanks for having me on. And, like, you know, I love that we're sticking to our forever guest. Like,
Of
I keep coming
course.
back. It's not just like a saying.
It doesn't matter how big you get, we're still reaching out, you
Exactly.
know. You got Oscar Gold, we're like, nope, you're our forever guest.
So
Love it.
good, so good. But yes, of course, we're also here too. We're also here.
That's right,
J-Lo
that's right.
Fantastic and the Mouth.
What's up?
Oh my goodness! But yes, we have so much good industry news to talk about. I mean, we're talking about the Oscars. I mean, with all this crazy stuff going on, they might be doing a little tweakage.
They might be.
on
Might be.
how to qualify for this awards program. And then, of course, we're
Yeah.
talking streaming wars. We're talking Disney. We're talking basically everything going on in the entertainment industry.
And we got a little war between the streamers and the theaters. Like
We do.
That's getting
Yeah.
nasty too. So
Going back and forth. But of course, before we get started, we got to plug our website, crazyantmedia.com. Anything that you need to know about us, the company, the podcast, our improv skits that we started doing, our weekly updates, and all that stuff. That is on crazyantmedia.com. Of course, we have some great merchandise gear. Look at that. It just looks so beautiful for all of our YouTube viewers. We appreciate everyone who has liked and subscribed to our YouTube channel and the podcast. Y'all are amazing.
and everybody who's bought merchandise, thank
Yes,
you.
appreciate it. But let's get started, man, with the Oscars.
Yes, this is a biggie because I'm sure a lot of people were freaking out, you know, filmmakers and studios about, you know, because if for anybody not familiar, the Academy has eligibility rules in order to qualify to get nominated for an Oscar for Best Picture. And, you know, if you were unable to release your film as planned, you know, during the year, which I get that a lot of people were freaking out, but let's be honest about it. How many Oscar contenders are released in early?
Yeah.
They always wait until the end of the year when it's fresh to be,
Exactly.
you know, nominated. But anyway, the Oscars, the Academy has changed the rules up a little bit to allow for the stuff because, as you guys know, most of the theaters across the country have been shut down, and especially in Los Angeles. And under the current rules, you have to be released in Los Angeles County, a theatrical release in Los Angeles County for at least 7 days straight, and you have to be played at least 3 times during the day in order to qualify for nomination. Obviously, that couldn't happen.
Yeah.
So they have decided to change the rules. And any film that was set to be released in theaters but couldn't because of the COVID-19 pandemic and was released to a streamer or video on demand will now qualify. They will be able to qualify under the general entry and specialty categories for Best Picture. But the film must be made available on the Secure Academy screening room site and on any of streamer or video on demand site at least 60 days before.
Yeah.
So that seems fair to me.
Yeah, it just seems like another place to submit it, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a good compromise.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe some of these films that were going to come out in the summer now, maybe they hold till closer to award season.
Yeah,
you know?
man, so much crazy stuff. What do you think, Rebecca?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. Like you said, most movies that feel like they're going to be, have a really good chance do release near the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we still have a bunch, obviously that haven't come out yet. But like Ghostbusters, pushed. Like a lot of summer movies have obviously pushed because they want, the best chance at the box office. So
Absolutely,
it'll be interesting to see what actually does come out this year and what our Oscars are going to look like.
Right.
Yeah,
like,
it's going to be streamlined for sure.
Yeah.
I think. They are going to make it a little bit easier now, though, after the theaters open also. They're not going to hold so strictly to that Los Angeles County. They're also going to allow films that screen in New York City, the Bay Area, Chicago, Miami, and Atlanta to also meet that 7-day requirement of screening in those cities.
So
to
major hubs. That's really going to help out a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah, I think so. And that, like I said, that seems pretty fair.
Yeah, definitely.
Not the only changes, though.
No.
And this didn't go over so well either, apparently, with some people. They're making some changes in the sound categories. You know how they always have sound mixing and sound editing, right?
Right.
Well, they're combining that category.
Really?
Yeah, it's going to be one category. And apparently the sound mixers weren't so happy about that. But there's still going to be the same amount of Oscars awarded. The same amount of members can still win the award. So... I don't know. I think it's always confusing for people not in the industry and not familiar with post-production.
Yeah.
What the difference between sound mixing and sound
Exactly.
editing even is.
Yeah.
So
they probably think everything falls under ADR when there's so many different types of ADR. Like,
yeah. I mean, I don't know. How was that when you first got started, Rebecca? Did you have any idea like what the whole process with the sound was?
No, I mean, I still don't love ADR myself, only because, you're trying to recreate a performance that you did, depending on when you did it. I mean, it's, if a TV show, it's maybe a few weeks ago or a month ago, but if it's a film, it could be a film you did a year ago, that's now realizing they've got, to fix some stuff. So I'm learning to love it. I'm learning to love it more. For SVU, I only had to redo 2 lines, but the rest was like huffing and breathing, and, running. And it's like I'm like running in this, in the booth and trying to get up. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
So I have, great respect. I'm saddened that they are making it 2 categories. I know most people don't know the difference, but I think everyone deserves their, if they put in the work and they put in the hard work, they deserve not to have, I don't think to have 1 category, but to have 2, because they are 2 different things and they take 2 different skills.
That's an excellent point. I'm going to play devil's advocate on that, though, and say it's like a collaborative team effort with the whole sound thing. And I think sometimes, like if, say, the sound editor category, they win the Oscar and the sound mixing doesn't. It's like, but we were involved in that whole process.
Exactly.
Shouldn't have we all won? So maybe this teaming it up will eliminate one winning and one not. But I totally agree with you. I think you should be recognized individually for what you do. So I don't know.
Yeah.
The only other change in the music.
Yeah.
Apparently now for an original score to qualify, 60% of the score must be original music.
Oh, wow.
So that means, and for a sequel, 80% of the score must be original music. Because, we all know whenever there's a sequel, they always play the original theme song. Like every time you see Superman or Batman or the Avengers, that theme song is in there. So, but now, 80% for sequels, 60% for originals that have to be original music. So
yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. See what happens.
I mean, you can't just drag out the old footage. You got to actually bring the orchestra back and re-record. You know, I mean,
it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But this next one, there's a lot of back and forth about it, like you teased, but movie theaters were allowed to reopen in Georgia this past Monday, and some in Texas they're talking about.
But, they're opening today, supposedly in Texas. So.
Yeah, and then But I mean, it's all going back and forth. California governor said no. I don't blame him.
Yeah, he said, no, absolutely not. And most of the major chains, to their credit, they're like, we have no plan on opening until June or July when the studios actually have a movie to release.
Exactly.
So, that's interesting. And why would you? Nobody is we've already talked about it. Most of those movies have probably already been released on video on demand or on the streamers. So why would you go again to watch it in the theater? I mean, I don't know.
Going back to the last big movie that was released before everything was shut down was like Onward, and that's on Disney Plus now.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can just stream it right away. So yeah, I don't see the need to reopen and show old movies that people have probably already seen on like Amazon Prime and things like that. So.
Right. My question
is
No, go ahead, Rebecca.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, like, that was my question. Is like, when I saw that, I was like, what movies are they going to be playing?
Right,
because
exactly.
Everything, they'll have to play the old movies that were in the theater right before, everything shut down because there's nothing new out. But, I was talking to my mom about it, and she did bring up a good point of, like, people have been inside so long. She's like, they might go and see a movie.
Right, like, just to be out.
That's true. But so many questions with that, though, because, like, how are you going to judge the box office? Logan and I were talking about this earlier, because they do have to still, I guess, during these phases, stick to the distancing requirements, and they're only going to be allowed to operate at half capacity and stuff. So you're basically going to have 15, 20 people in a theater per movie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for the whole day, you would probably have just a little more than what you would have had at one showing before all of this.
Yeah.
So, when the box office numbers come out and it's like, oh, opening weekend, it made $5 million. Yeah, because there was only 400 people that saw it. Like, I mean, how are you going to judge that? Studios, I think... And we're going to talk about this because, like I said, they're getting into the war with the streamers. But I feel like if that's going to be the case for the first few months at the theaters, they have to recoup the money. They have to make back the budget.
Exactly.
So they're going to have to find another way to release it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, like you were talking about off air, possibly releasing it to the streaming platforms way earlier than normal.
Right,
like
closing that window, which is what's causing the problem.
Exactly.
Oh, we're going to talk about that. Ooh, Disney.
Disney.
We know, Rebecca, you're a big theme park fan, so this one is going to be interesting. Disney has, because of the coronavirus and stuff, when they do reopen, the Orange County Economic Task Force, and this is for Disney World, by the way, they will be, during phase 1, limited to 50% capacity. 50% capacity. I mean, that's a huge blow when you think about the amount of people
that can fit in the actual theme park.
Yeah. I mean, and then phase 2 is 75%. And here's the crazy stuff. They also, all employees are going to be required to wear face masks. There'll be touchless hand sanitizers at all of the ticketing and turnstiles. And each ride and attraction entry and exit. There are going to be temperature checking staff prior to their shifts. There's going to be regular wipe downs of all the stuff. Any staff member over 65 is going to be encouraged to stay home and not come to work.
Yeah.
And this is crazy because the lines, it takes forever to get on a ride at Disney World to begin with. Yeah. But now they have to stick to these social distancings. So you still have to stand 6 feet apart in all of the attraction rides. And there can be no more of groups of 20 together. So you're going to get like 6 feet apart, 20 people. And then that's it for the line for that ride until that moved. What?
Yeah.
I mean... That is so crazy.
It's definitely changing the game, man. I mean, we were talking about with concert venues and everything as well, especially in theme parks as well. Like, everybody is just always so close together. Like, I was thinking about when I went to Disney World for the first time, and literally, you're moving like The Walking Dead, like a mob all together. So, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens in the future with all this.
I mean, do you think it stops people from going? Would you stop going, Rebecca? I mean, I feel like I would definitely wait to see how it all plays out.
Yeah.
I mean...
Well, is there any word on like Disneyland, what they're going to do?
It's going to be interesting. We have not heard anything about Disneyland yet because Governor Newsom has got he's not even planning on reopening things for another few months. Yeah. So, but I would assume that they're going to have to kind of follow because while it was bad in Florida, I mean it was worse in California. So I would guess that they're going to have to follow strict guidelines like that as well. We know it did affect Universal Studios also in Orlando. So. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I was supposed to go. My in-laws were supposed to come into town at Easter time, and we were supposed to go to Disneyland then because they've actually never been. obviously we didn't go because everything's closed, and they didn't come because there's no point. But yeah, I mean, I guess, if you're in the group of 50% that's able to get in at the beginning, maybe the lines wouldn't be so bad because there's only half the people in the park, and then a lot of people just wouldn't want to go. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. We actually went to the movie theater the weekend before everything closed. We saw The Hunt, which I really enjoyed. It was really fun if anyone hasn't seen that. But we went to Universal City. It's in Universal City Walk, and there was like no one there.
Oh my goodness!
And there was like 4 of us in the movie theater. It was actually really nice.
It is nice. It is nice to see a movie with limited people, right? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the big tent poles when it's slam packed and everybody's cheering and standing. But I also like to just kind of go sit in there with the movie experience and quiet and kind of like so. Yeah, it's music festivals is where I'm wondering.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, because you're always like right on top of each other, and especially outdoor music festivals and all that kind of stuff. I just don't see how that's going to keep going.
Yeah, and I mean, with venues like the Hollywood Bowl, how is that going to work? They're going to section off places? Like, I don't know, man.
So interesting. And then, okay, some more bad news for Disney.
Yeah.
It's not all. We promise. There's some good news for Disney, too. But for Marvel fans, this is not cool.
Yeah,
Disney moved Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness again. Remember, we mentioned a couple weeks ago on the show that they decided to move it to November 5th of 2021. But now it's being pushed back all the way to March 25th of 2022.
Damn.
It
sucks.
I'm not excited about that. That, of course, fucked up Thor, Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
It's been moved up a week now from February 18th to February 11th. So, interesting stuff. And then, of course, we mentioned, Spider-Man 3 is now shifted. So, just all this Marvel stuff, it's breaking my heart, man.
I know. I'm just so ready to watch Black Widow.
Me too. Oh, my gosh, I'm so excited. I already got my Funkos and can't watch the movie.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck with that? I mean, it's not cool. I don't know. And Rebecca, you're a big Marvel fan, right? So
I am. I mean, I understand they have to do what they think is best for their movie and to maximize their, release and all of that. So I get it. I mean, we're gonna have a lot of movies next year
were supposed
to come out this year.
It's
so everything is kind of getting pushed. So just.
Well, and Marvel has an unprecedented track record. 21 movies, 21 number one openings.
Yeah.
And most of the time, biggest opening.
Have to keep that.
Yeah,
exactly.
You don't want to be that first Marvel movie that doesn't open at number one. You're like, fuck. So they're definitely strategically timing when that shit comes out.
Yeah, or cross $1 billion because all of them have crossed $1 billion.
Exactly, almost all of them have done that. It's so, and also I guess they're staggering it because now the TV shows on Disney Plus are also part of it now.
Yeah.
So they have to, not mess that up either.
Yeah.
So, whew,
I know.
I don't know.
It's sad. But like you said, it's not all bad for Disney.
Not.
They are releasing Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker onto Disney Plus 2 months ahead of schedule, guys, on May the 4th.
May the 4th be with you.
Yes.
Star Wars Day,
Seriously,
obviously.
yeah.
Everybody knows May 4th, Star Wars Day. And so now, and to that, it's come off of Netflix. So now the only place you can see all 9 Skywalker films is on Disney Plus.
Yeah, The Last Jedi was on Netflix there for a while, and now it's finally on Disney Plus, where it belongs.
That's exciting, though, because, I mean, I'm a geek. I'll sit down and watch all 9.
Definitely.
It's like, why not, right?
Exactly. I'm just saying.
I loved them. I loved them all. I know some people had issues with, a couple of them or, the prequels and now the sequels, but I liked all of them.
I agree.
I thought it was a hell of a, run for the saga, so I'm super excited. I mean,
And then plus, I mean, The Mandalorian is also hitting on May the 4th, the documentary series as well. So, I mean, I'm super excited to just about everything that's happening Star Wars-wise.
Yeah.
Huge Star Wars fan.
And the final episode of Star Wars Clone Wars.
Yes.
So, they're wrapping that up, and that's going to be all on May 4th.
Yeah.
Are you a Star Wars or a Star Trekker? Like, what are you, Rebecca?
I like both. I couldn't pick.
There you go.
I mean, I think they both are interesting in their own ways. So, I mean, I can't pick.
Good answer. Good. See,
understand.
that's the answer you say not to piss off either one of those fandoms because they
Exactly.
get real shitty real fast. So that was a good answer. Good.
No,
answer.
and I genuinely do like both. I mean, I love any kind of science fiction, all those kind of worlds are I don't know. My husband and I both are really big fans of that. So anything that is like takes me out of this, world, I'm all in.
Totally agree with
Definitely.
that. I've never been one of those either, like where I'm just a trekker or just. I mean, I love both of them as well. So
exactly. What'd you think about the Mandalorian?
I assume you're talking to me.
Yes.
I loved it. I mean, how can you not like Baby Yoda?
I know.
I mean,
and now they're
it's funny.
They're doing Baby Yoda surgical masks, Baby Yoda masks for the whole COVID thing. So come on now.
I know they say not to work with dogs or children or animals or children because they will steal the scene.
Yes, and it's true.
And it's like that is not even real. And it totally stole everything.
It was the best kept secret in Hollywood, though, until it debuted.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how Favreau and the gang did it, but, man, that was amazing because nobody saw that coming. And then, like you said, it just blew up.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, and my friend Boone was in it, Mark Boone Jr.
Oh, nice.
I didn't know he, of course, he couldn't say he was going to be in it. So it was really awesome to see him pop up. And, I texted him after, and I was like, oh, it was so cool to see you. So it's so cool to be a part of. I mean, to be a part of that is just like I would die.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, we still we got to get her into the Marvel universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and now Star Wars. Got to get her into the Star Wars.
There's many. Just keeps lining up.
Well, you're starting to kill it, though. I mean, SVU, and then we're going to talk a little bit later about your next big one. So you're making some jump into some serious franchises. So you're making moves. Speaking of making moves, the NFL.
Yes.
A record-setting night on last Thursday, when they averaged 15.6 million viewers of the first round of the draft.
Damn. I think people were just trying to see how they were going to do it with this everybody staying home stuff.
Right?
So, I feel like they just sent literally everybody a GoPro and just set this up in the corner and let's get your reactions.
Yeah,
That's what it looked like.
I mean, I think after the initial how are they going to do it, the next thing was what are they all going to be wearing? Because, they normally come in these flashy suits and all this kind of stuff. Like, what are they going to be wearing at home? The one dude in the robe, he's just in his bathrobe like, okay, just signed a multi-million.
It was an Old Spice bathrobe, too, because he, signed a deal with them. It's hilarious.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. The number one pick gets, a specialized Nike shirt made for him. This guy's got an Old Spice robe that they sent him. I mean,
funny.
It's pretty good. All of the rounds, though, I guess, did pretty good.
Yeah.
Obviously, good news for Disney because Disney owns ABC, ESPN, and that's where it was aired, and they were killing it. 8.2 million viewers on the second night for the second round, 4.2 million on the third night, which almost nobody stays around for the third round.
I'm surprised.
And beyond, so that's really, really strong numbers there. Are you big into the NFL? You a draft day girl or what, Rebecca?
I mean, not as far as that goes. I mean, I'm a Cowboys fan. So
yes, yes. You are.
We watch. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're just always at the top of my favorite guest list. Whenever anybody that's a Cowboys fan, I see you and Emma Furman posting constantly about the Cowboys, and I'm like, these girls know. These girls know what it is. Yes.
So funny.
Yeah. So we watch once the games are on, but I'm not big into the draft and knowing or all of that.
Fair enough. Rebecca Kennedy, not one of the 15.6 million people.
No, it was not me. It wasn't me.
No, it wasn't me.
It wasn't me. I can't keep up with everything.
It's a lot. It's really a lot, especially with everything going down on social media. But some more exciting news for Disney. Disney Family Sing Along was huge. I mean, 13 million viewers for ABC, right?
Yeah, added after the 7-day delayed viewing. So
Damn.
On top of whatever the initial was, and I guess their initial ratings were pretty good, another 13 million after the 7-day viewing.
Wow. I saw it's on Disney Plus now.
It is, and it made it the second most watched show of the week, only behind NCIS. Which makes sense, that's fine. 16.8 million viewers though in the key demographic, 18 to 49. So a lot of the youngins watching this sing along. That's interesting, and that's a huge jump of 31% with a 3.4 rating.
Killing
which
it.
I mean, everybody knows it's all about targeting that key demographic because that's where all the sales come in.
Yeah.
That's where all the marketing and advertising comes in. So that's what they want.
Definitely.
And of course, with numbers like that, it's no brainer. They just announced a follow-up special for it.
Yes.
Disney Family Sing Along 2, set to debut on Mother's Day, May 10th. It's going to be hosted by Ryan again.
Of course.
Does he have a special desk for that?
I know.
We talked about last week, he had the old American Idol desk. So, does he have a special desk for the sing-along? Who knows?
This guy has anything he wants, basically.
You big into sing-alongs? I bet you'd kick ass at a sing-along.
I could see Rebecca singing at home.
I mean, we did watch it. I didn't really sing along because my husband was like, he was in the other room. He wasn't even really watching, but I did have it on, and he was like, "Oh my god!"
What? He didn't even come out for animated Mickey. We even had animated Mickey for it. Come on. By the way, he returns. He will be on the second one also.
That's cool.
Yeah, even I was like, Zac Efron, your boy, he's on. He's like, not feeling to sing along. So that's all right.
So funny.
That's all right. Sometimes we all just have to sing alone. It's okay. It's all right.
It's fine.
You know who else is going to be alone?
The Bachelor.
Yeah, The Bachelor. Yeah. Old Chris Harrison. Aww. Chris Harrison's going to be by himself, apparently, because everything's shut down.
Yeah.
There's no production going on.
Makes sense.
But ABC said that's not going to stop us. Chris Harrison, you're going to be in it by yourself, and you're going to host this show. So
you can do it.
That's right. Apparently, they're going to do a whole retrospective series instead of new episodes. It's going to be The Bachelor, the most unforgettable ever.
Okay.
So, and it's going to highlight like iconic scenes, I guess, from the past 18 years of episodes and
that's cool.
Like all that kind of stuff. So that'll be interesting.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense. We do the same with our podcast. When we take a week off, we have the best of episodes. So yeah. I mean, especially a show as huge as The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. I mean, it makes sense.
I'm just going to go on record, and anybody can argue with me, but I just don't get it. I've never understood the fascination with The Bachelor.
Everybody wants to fall in love. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've just never 18 years.
Yeah.
I'm I figured 3, 4,
yeah,
5 years maybe, and then
keeping up with the Kardashians has been on for 15 years. So I mean,
true.
People just want to know,
it's
man.
True. People want that rose, man. They're like, here, take the rose. Are you a fan, Rebecca?
So I watched it at the beginning. I will admit I haven't watched it. I haven't kept up with it. I mean, 18 years is a long time.
Right?
It is. It's basically the same thing over, all those seasons. It's just I get it. It's same thing with Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
How many times can we see the same dances with different people? It's just, come on.
Yeah.
Original. Be original.
Yeah, I'm very limited and very picky on my reality.
Yeah.
So that I choose to watch. So, maybe if I had a girlfriend to watch it with or something, it would be more fun. It's definitely not fun watching by yourself, and Brandon's definitely over it.
No. He's like, no.
No sing-alongs and no Bachelor for Brandon. Okay. Noted. All right.
Especially once you get past the first couple episodes where everyone's being crazy.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of how I am with The Voice. After the blind auditions, I kind of drop off.
Really?
Yeah.
I will say, though, I do like the Jonas edition.
Yeah.
I think he's been
Nick
fantastic.
Jonas. Yeah.
And he's kind of given it a new little fresh upbeat, at least for this season. So.
Yeah, I agree.
Speaking of, Hulu has picked up the BBC coming-of-age comedy In My Skin.
Okay.
Yeah, this one apparently everybody was trying to get, and Hulu won it, so, good for Disney.
Yeah.
It follows a Welsh teenager, Bethan, who lives a double life as she tries to keep her mother's mental illness and her father's alcoholism a secret.
Oh, wow.
That sounds intense.
Well, I think we need more shows that deal with addiction and mental illness so we can bring these stereotypes to life and just to have it start a conversation with people that you never really talk to about it, because you can connect with so many people about these things that also have that going on in their life as well. I mean, I hate the stereotype, so I think this is good.
I think so too. I agree. We need to have content out there that makes people think and makes people talk. I just hope it doesn't get controversial. The whole first season of 13 Reasons Why.
Yeah.
Everybody was singing and praising it about how it made people talk, and then everybody was like, "Oh, but it's encouraging and it's this and that." And so, hopefully it doesn't do that. I mean, I agree with you. I think it's important to have content out there that makes people talk, especially with mental illness. I feel like everybody's scared to touch that subject.
Yeah.
So I think this is a good one, and Hulu's the right place to do it, I think.
Agreed. What about you, Rebecca? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it sounds really good, and I'm excited to see it. I mean, I read the book, 13 Reasons Why, and I watched the show, and, if we don't ever have, it was the same thing kind of when I did To the Bone.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
A lot of people liked it and a lot of people didn't.
Yeah.
But it's like, if we never have these conversations, if we never show, like, how do we ever talk about it?
Exactly.
That's exactly right.
So I don't, it's really hard to please everyone, I think. So I think they have to do what they feel is best and how they can show it the best way possible, and just know that not everybody is going to agree.
Totally agree. And by the way, nice shout out to the Bone. That was a great
exactly.
movie.
Everybody go watch that.
Like, there's nothing wrong with a little self-promotion. I love it.
We do it all the time. It's fun.
That's right. It was a fantastic movie too. Everybody who doesn't know, Lily Collins or whatever, just brilliant.
Yeah.
Speaking of brilliant, Judy Greer. I'm a huge fan of Judy Greer.
Yeah.
I think she's just awesome in everything she does. Her and Steve Guttenberg. Yes, Steve Guttenberg. You remember Steve Guttenberg
man.
from Police Academy? Like way back in the day. They're bringing him back out.
That's great.
Ellen Wong, Maria Conchito Alonso, so many good people, and Chico the dog are getting ready to star in Jason Blumhouse's new one,
Nice.
Into the Dark, Good Boy.
Nice.
And that's part of his horror franchise that's on Hulu also. So that's going to be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, he's very consistent. No matter how well or how bad it does, he's very consistent.
He is very consistent. And I like that he's kind of made the move to television, because he's had a couple of misses at the theater lately.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to kind of bring it home and bring it to TV. And it's an interesting one. I guess it's about a woman who gets an emotional support dog to help quell her anxiety.
Nice.
And she
even
finds
more so, people talking about anxiety. That's great.
Right. So, and like I said, who doesn't love Greer? I mean, she's fantastic.
Agreed.
I mean, so
and dogs.
And dogs. And dogs, exactly. I mean, you mix those two, it's bound to be a hit.
I agree.
That's all I'm saying.
Hell yeah.
That's all I'm saying. See, not all bad news for Disney.
Exactly.
They got some good stuff.
There's some good stuff. They start in conversations.
It's true. Now, this next one we called. We pride ourselves on like predicting the future of the industry, and we do it pretty well. We called this one a year ago.
Yeah.
We said that Randall Stevenson was likely not going to last long at the top of AT&T.
Yeah.
And that he would be replaced by Stanky, who didn't really seem to fit the entertainment part of Warner Media.
Yeah.
So, and of course, now it's happening, right?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Randall Stevenson, AT&T's chairman and CEO, set to retire after 38 years.
Yeah, that's a long run.
Who's going to take his place? John Stanky.
Yeah.
Much like we said a year ago, that's what we thought was going to happen. That's what's going to happen. And we know that. Remember, we said on the show a couple of weeks ago, Jason Kilar from Hulu is now taking over Warner Media, which makes total sense to me, because this guy was at the founding of Hulu, knows the entertainment industry, especially the television side, backwards and forward.
Agreed.
So you're getting ready to launch HBO Max and all that kind of stuff, and that's the way that everything is going. Makes sense that that's the guy you have running the entertainment part of your company, right?
Yeah.
So this move makes total sense.
Definitely. I mean, transition will happen July 1st, but it looks like he'll stay on as executive chairman until January 2021.
You think he got that from Iger?
Yeah, I see what he's doing.
Oh, Iger's going to be executive chairman. I'm going to be executive chairman.
Me too.
Good enough for the mouse, good enough for the bunny.
Right,
like,
exactly.
I'm just saying.
So funny.
I love that. I just want that title, executive chairman.
I know, it sounds so cool.
It does sound cool. It basically means you're just hanging around and doing nothing until your retirement date. But, you're executive chairman.
I mean, unless you're Iger. Iger's heavily involved in the creative stuff.
Yeah, and definitely now running things again with the whole, Disney knew where to go.
Exactly.
They knew that. So, Rebecca, the mouse or the bunny? Where does your loyalty lie?
Are you making me? I can't.
I can't do it.
There's like no way. It's Mickey and Bugs, Star Wars and Star Trek. It's like
yeah. You can love all.
You can love all. I mean,
I know, because people always ask like DC or Marvel, and I'm like, why can't I love everything?
Exactly.
That's so true. So, and see, did you see? She very carefully there. That was Warner and Disney.
Exactly.
Marvel and DC. Yeah. For many people who don't know, DC all owned by Warner Brothers. All their characters, and obviously Marvel with Disney. So, nice call.
So
nice
smart.
call. She
She's
is smart.
smart.
Let's see. Yeah, speaking of HBO Max, they're just making sure you're going to be able to see it everywhere.
Everywhere, man.
Everywhere.
I mean, they're going to be partnering with Apple for a distribution deal so that HBO Max will be available on the Apple TV streaming site.
Yeah, and your iPhone and your iPad and like whatever Apple device you have, you're going to be able to watch HBO Max.
Makes sense.
So, I mean, it's so weird though. Like you log into Apple TV thinking you're going to be watching some Apple TV Plus shows, and then like, oh yeah, you can also go to HBO Max.
Yeah.
It's like,
and you can also go to like Disney Plus and
Yeah,
CNN and
that's
like
like-
all these different places. I mean, Apple's trying to be the one-stop shop.
I guess so.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No.
It might not be so good for your shows, but I guess if you're also being the place where you can watch everybody else's, that's not totally a bad thing.
Yeah, definitely. And Rebecca, we just got done binge watching the morning show. Have you seen this one?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, it's so amazing.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, the final episode was just like, whoa.
I know. And I mean, our background is in television broadcasting and the news side of things, so like connected with it so much. There was some shady stuff happening at some news networks.
Oh yeah,
and, like,
you have no idea how real that show actually
Yeah.
was. There was clearly somebody
Yeah.
that had worked at broadcast news that was an advisor or something,
Yeah.
because a lot of that shit that was going down, oh my gosh, we saw it every day.
Yeah.
Every day for so many years. It was so good though.
Yeah, I loved it. I cannot wait to see what they do with season 2. Holy crap.
Seriously. But HBO Max that's not it. They couldn't ignore, they had to do iPhones, but they also wanted to do Androids.
Of
So they
course.
signed the same type deal with Google. So HBO Max is going to be available on Google Play, Android phones, tablets, and Chromebooks. So whatever you are, if you're an Android or an iPhone, you're going to be able to watch HBO Max.
There you go. There you go.
So-
Don't discriminate.
No, I'm just all about the iPhone.
I know. A
But,
lot
you
of people
know.
discriminate against the androids.
Yeah, do you have are you iPhone or Android?
Yeah, iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just,
Yeah.
I don't know. And I'm getting really frustrated. I will never do anything other than the iPhone because my poor mom, she got that Google book or Chromebook, and it's all the Google operating system. I can't figure out shit on that. She's like, how do I do this? How do I do it? I have no idea.
Like, I'm trying to help.
I don't know where control panel is. How do I find a fucking printer? I can't do anything on that Chromebook. I'm like, I am useless. I just don't like it.
Goodness gracious.
Anyway, that's this part of the show not brought to you by Google.
Right? Like,
There goes that sponsorship.
or Apple, yeah.
That's
like-
right. Oh, I'm excited about this one though.
Yes.
Patty Jenkins and Warner Brothers already planning out the future of Wonder Woman.
That's so
I mean,
exciting.
she had hinted that there was going to be a third one,
Yeah.
but now she's basically confirming there's a third one and a fourth, but it's going to be a spin-off with the Amazons. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I
Like-
agree, man. You get to get the backstory on them and where they, like, how they all formed. I'm so excited.
I mean, seriously, I think a lot of people really enjoyed the Amazon part of the first one.
Yeah.
And we're pretty excited to see that story continue. So, super. And she says that one will actually come out before Wonder Woman 3.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, which is really interesting to me. Here's the other interesting thing. She wants no part of directing the spinoff.
That makes sense.
She's like, I hope I don't have to. I don't want to. I'm going to try really hard not to. But, I mean, I feel like that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, she although I also think that Patty is so attached to it all that if she has to, she will.
yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, but that's cool. Apparently, her and Jeff Johns came up with the script for the Amazon one and pitched it, and Warner Brothers loved it. And so, but yeah, so apparently the future of Wonder Woman is in good hands.
Yeah, I feel like Wonder Woman is probably their most successful superhero,
I
in my
think so.
opinion.
I think
mean,
so.
we saw the greatness that was Joker, but I mean, obviously not a superhero. But yeah, Wonder Woman's amazing.
Yeah, I think everybody like connected with that first film, and it was just like, you know, and it came out at such the perfect time for female empowerment and
Yeah,
you know the
agreed.
movement that was going on, and they capitalized on it obviously. But I think I mean everybody, all the momentum and all the buzz seems to be really positive for Wonder Woman 1984. So. I mean, it's set in the 80s. Hello, I'm gonna love it without doubt.
Of course.
You know, so I'm excited about that. Are you totally in? Are you like all Wonder Woman, Rebecca?
Oh yeah, I love the first one. I think she's great, and I'm excited to see the next how it's gonna go.
Definitely.
Yeah.
They couldn't have picked a better person to play.
No,
I
Gal
mean, Gal
Gadot's
Gadot,
amazing.
Yeah, she's perfect Wonder Woman.
Yeah, she's great.
I mean, when you talk about nailing it for casting, right? And we should give credit to where credit's due. That was Snyder, not you
Oh,
know.
nice.
Yeah, I mean
I didn't know that.
he had cast her for Justice League
That's
before,
right.
you know,
Before
and
Wonder
then
Woman.
Patty Jenkins was like, well, that's Wonder Woman, so
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna have to do that. But yeah, it turned out really well, I'd say. Release the Snyder cut. That's right. do it now. Oh, another one that's gonna be developed. This is interesting, but it's gonna be a series. Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Old Pinhead.
Yeah.
Yeah, HBO is developing a series based on that franchise. But remember, I guess, I don't even know, it was a couple months ago, I think we talked about this on the show. They're doing a new movie. They're rebooting the movie franchise, but this is not going to be connected to that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they said this will be in no part connected to the movie reboot. This is standalone. So
interesting. I've never seen the original. I'm a youngin. We all know. But I'm sorry.
I mean, Pinhead is pretty badass.
Yeah. Gonna have to check it out.
We know Rebecca's a horror fan.
Oh yeah, obviously. Horror queen over here.
Maybe she shows up in Hellraiser. Right? I don't know.
That would be great.
It would be awesome. I mean, you know how to get messy, so it'll be good. It's like when it comes to blood and guts, Rebecca is there. She's like, I got this. It's all good. All in. All good. Yeah. So, and apparently the same people that are doing that, it's Eastbound and Down, Vice Principals, The Righteous Gemstones.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He's attached, David Gordon Green. So that's the guy who's going to be in charge of it. So I'd say he's got a pretty successful track record with HBO. So I think he's going to be pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, other things that are heading over to HBO, Seth Rogen's film, The American Pickle, is heading over to HBO Max. Warner Media has taken the global rights to this feature, which stars Seth MacFarlane. What am I saying?
I don't know. Seth Rogen?
Seth Rogen.
You're obsessed with Seth MacFarlane.
That would be interesting.
Right? Like, those two together, that'd be amazing. I'm a huge fan of both. But, in dual roles, Rogen's going to be... It comes from Sony because everybody knows he has a partnership with Sony. So it's interesting. This one's supposed to come out in 2021.
Yeah, and then so obviously with the reshift of the schedule of all the movies, Sony couldn't find a place for it in the release schedule, so they coughed it up, and HBO Max picked it up. And so, loss for Sony, but a win for HBO Max, obviously.
There we go.
Really interesting, though, because the dual role, he's playing himself, but then he's also playing, 100 years in the future, his great-grandson. So he's playing the great-grandson and the guy who was preserved for 100 years. And by the way, preserved, so he's literally like a pickled Seth Rogen, I guess, is how they're doing it. I don't know, like an American pickle, Seth Rogen.
That's so funny.
What? I mean, he's great, though. He's
so
funny.
Goofy,
so, I mean, it'll definitely be an interesting HBO Max.
I know. But everything he does is so lighthearted and great. So I love it.
I mean, I absolutely love. By the way, do you watch the Chef Show with Jon Favreau, Rebecca?
I've watched a few episodes, but I haven't watched it all.
So good. The one with Seth Rogen is absolutely phenomenal. Good. You got to watch that one. You'll be laughing your ass off. It's so good.
Yeah, I am a big Seth Rogen fan. So.
Yes, and I'm a big Jon Favreau fan. So
I
couldn't not watch that episode. It was brilliant. Ursa Major. Songs in Ursa Major. Apparently, everybody was bidding for this film.
Okay.
I'll be honest for you, I haven't even heard of it. I haven't heard of the book. I didn't know anything about this, but apparently there was a giant bidding war for it.
Oh, wow.
Village Roadshow Pictures got it.
Okay.
Right? I was like, I've never even heard of this. I don't know what this is. But the author of the book is going to write the script, and here's where I'm thrilled about it. Sarah Schnettner and Greg Berlanti are going to produce.
Yes.
Anything that Berlanti is attached to, I feel like is going to rock.
I agree.
I mean, this guy is like producer extraordinaire.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just unbelievable. So, a love story set in 1969 at the crossroads of rock and folk. That sounds badass.
Yeah, just love both of those genres of music. So especially them crossing together at such like the summer of love. Like, it's gonna be epic.
And it's about a young musical prodigy that falls in love with a hard partying folk legend. Sorta, kinda, maybe roundabout sounds like A Star Is Born.
A little bit,
but
so it does.
I mean, it'll work.
Yeah,
I think. I just think these type movies like work.
Yeah, I agree.
Just musicals and anything with like a young and old and kind of the merging of. I mean, who wasn't a fan of A Star Is Born?
Yeah, right.
I mean, holy shit, that movie was so good.
So good.
You like musicals? We want to get Rebecca in a musical. Will you do a musical, Rebecca?
I do like musicals. It's been a while. I was looking up that book because I haven't heard of it either, and it looks like it hasn't even come out yet.
Oh, wow.
So there you go. Well, it makes sense, right?
That's probably why none of us have heard of it.
Well, that's good. Whew. That's why we need Rebecca to co-host every week. She's like, it's okay you haven't heard about it. It hasn't come out yet.
I thought we were behind
I thought so
like,
too. I'm like, we know everything. How do we miss this? But no. Thank you, Rebecca.
I don't think it has.
That's okay. I'm going to go with you.
But,
whatever you say, it's right.
Rebecca is correct. It hasn't come out yet, and I am happy with that. Man, though, we should totally try to get Rebecca on Zoe's.
We should.
Yeah, if Zoe's gets picked up for season 2, totally see her down with it.
That is a great.
Oh my gosh,
show.
yes. Well, yeah, and that's the guest today, obviously Mandy Moore, the choreographer, and so yes, such fun. But you would be kick ass on that. That'd be awesome.
I agree.
J-Lo? I know. I'm gonna ask again today.
Oh my goodness.
Do you have the red balls?
I don't.
You don't have you don't have red balls?
No.
Is this anybody? Rebecca, you have some giant red balls?
Oh my god.
I don't know.
I don't know how to answer
She's
that.
like, do I need to have giant red balls? Well, you know who does have giant red balls? TBS.
Wipeout.
Yes, Wipeout. Wipeout is coming back.
Oh my
TBS
God.
is bringing it back. Used to be on ABC, obviously, and it ran for a long time on ABC. I was shocked. But from 2008 to 2014. I didn't realize it ran that long.
I didn't either.
But I mean, that show was fun.
Yeah.
Seeing those people trying to run across those balls or any of that stuff was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
When somebody runs into a wall and gets smacked, that's funny shit.
Exactly.
I mean, so I'm excited about this. I don't know if the original hosts are coming back. I don't know if Jill Wagner is going to come back. She a mommy now though, and kind of. So I don't know, but I'm excited about it. I loved the show. Me and Lil Cam, me and Emily, we would play the video game. They had a video game of it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and me and Emily and her uncle would like sit there and play that shit for like all day long.
That's hilarious.
It was so funny. So I mean, come on, you like it, Rebecca, right? Like you can't help but watch when people get smacked around, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you know.
Was this video game you trying to make it across this?
Yes, you had to actually go across the balls, and they were a lot harder than you would think. You was like, oh no, I had Mario down. I could jump across the mushrooms. I got these balls. No. The red balls are harder than they look. It's just like,
oh my goodness.
I don't. Okay, that sounded like really crazy, but let's.
It did. I don't even know what to say.
Nope, we'll move on from the red balls. Sony. Let's move to Sony. Kaylee Cuoco, who we love.
Yes.
Kaylee Cuoco is awesome. Harley Quinn, currently Harley Quinn on the animated series, who she's kicking ass on that. She is signed on to star opposite Kevin Hart and Woody Harrelson in Man from Toronto. Remember, we talked about that because Woody Harrelson replaced Statham.
That's right.
Remember? So and we're excited about that. The film sounds fantastic. And now, if you're telling me the female lead is Kaylee Cuoco with Kevin Hart, it's going to be funny
hilarious.
As shit.
And I feel like Kevin Hart and Woody Harrelson is just going to be even more funny.
Yeah,
I mean, I love Woody Harrelson, and then plus, like, I mean, I feel like Jason Statham might have been too cold for the role. To be honest with you,
agreed. I mean, you know what I think? I think that maybe they initially saw them in Hobbs and Shaw, and it's like, oh, this is going to be a really great connection. Yeah. But then for whatever reason, Statham is out.
Yeah.
So
everything happens for a reason.
I think so. Yeah, this is going to be good. And then it's directed by the same guy who did The Hitman's Bodyguard. So with Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson, and I love that movie. I thought it was hilarious. So Patrick Hughes. So I think that's going to be, fantastic.
Yeah, and I mean, the film is supposed to hit theaters. We really don't know, but it's supposed to hit theaters September 17, 2021.
I feel like if this shit isn't over by September 17th, I'm going to be really, like, upset.
Yeah, I'm going to cry.
I mean, that's going to be wrong.
Oh, I'm going to be upset if it's not over by, like, June.
Right?
Yeah, seriously, right? Like, come on, people, get off the beach. Wear your mask, damn it. I mean, like, it's getting nuts.
It really is.
Oh, okay. All right. Bad news for Viacom CBS. Yeah, we know. We talked about this huge when Disney and Fox merged. Same type thing with Viacom CBS. When you merge two giant companies together, there are a whole lot of people that have the same jobs.
Yeah.
And that doesn't normally go very well. So Viacom CBS, they announced this week more layoffs.
Yeah, it sucks, man. It sucks. But hopefully with all these different streaming services and all these different studios that they can get picked up by other places. So.
Yeah, I mean, and it was, at least they tried to spread it out among, it wasn't just CBS, it was also MTV, and a lot of their different divisions, some in Paramount and stuff, but, 500 to 700 people.
Yeah, that's a lot of people without jobs, especially in this time, so.
And I mean,
this sucks.
Yeah.
This thing is really affecting a lot. And yeah, I mean, it's normal to lay off people after a merger of two giant companies, but I feel like the number was probably increased even more because of COVID. Bit, So I don't know. Ooh, I'm excited about this next one.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, Paramount and Hasbro, okay? They grab Oscar-winning Toy Story 4 director, Josh Cooley, and he's going to direct an animated Transformers movie that's going to be a prequel
Oh.
Yeah, a prequel. The film's not going to be a part of all the live action stuff, though.
Yeah.
It's going to be totally different. It's going to be a prequel, and it's going to take place on the homeworld of Cybertron, and it's going to, I guess, kind of describe how the battle between the Autobots and the Decepticons started.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I
that's
like
going to
that.
be badass.
And then plus, I want to see if, because I love the original Transformer cartoon like movies and everything like that. So I wonder if it's going to be still 2D or they're going to use the new computer technology and make it 3D.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love that you brought up Transformers the movie, though, because that movie was badass.
It was.
Orson Welles, Leonard Nimoy, Judd Nelson.
Yeah.
It had a huge cast, man.
Yeah.
That was like one of the biggest animated films of all time at that time.
Yeah.
And it was like... It was badass. I mean, it's one of my favorite films. I'm not gonna lie. It was kind of awesome. So I'm kind of hoping they keep old school.
Yeah.
You know,
That'd be epic.
I'm not opposed to the 2D animation. I know the whole Pixar generation and all this kind of stuff. I'm not opposed to some good old fashioned though 2D animation.
Exactly. Like cartoons actually just getting drawn, not actually computer animated.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
we shall see, man.
Transformers fan, Rebecca?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you like the the prequel with Bumblebee with Haley Steinfeld?
I did. I watched it on a plane. But I did enjoy it. I mean, the first one is always, I think be my favorite.
Right.
The first movie that came out with Shia LaBeouf, and he's so great. But I did enjoy it. For those movies, I really just want to be entertained, and if I'm entertained, then I'm good.
That's a good point. I mean, that's a good way to look at it too. Yeah. There are films like that are just popcorn candy, good time films, and that's one of them for sure.
Exactly.
So. Yeah.
I feel like sometimes like the audience takes it at too much at like dissecting what it's supposed to be or what it should be, and don't just take it at face value. Just enjoy the movie.
Exactly.
If you're entertained and have a good time, that's all that really matters. Come on now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of animation, everybody's on it because you can't do anything else right now.
No.
So Pop TV has picked up its first ever animated special.
Okay.
And this was an odd choice, but they're going with it anyway. The reboot of One Day at a Time is going to do an animated special.
All right.
Yeah, it's going to premiere in the spring. It came, obviously, the decision to have this animated special came after everything was shut down because they can't shoot anything right now.
Makes sense.
The stars of the show are going to do the voice work. They're going to voice their own characters and everything.
Cool.
So, and apparently it's going to have a couple celebrity guests.
Epic.
They're going to announce that later. So, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, we've been talking about it the past couple of weeks. Animation has just kept on rolling, man. This has not had a pause, stop button, anything like that. So animation is really hot right now, especially when you can just stay home and record your voice.
Absolutely. I mean, and basically everybody has a freaking sound studio in their home now because the technology has gotten to the point where you can just do it from home basically anywhere.
Exactly.
So.
Record it on your iPhone. Plug your iPhone.
Exactly. I'm kind of neutral on this, though, because I wasn't a big fan of the reboot of One Day at a Time.
Yeah.
Just because I liked the original, but so I'm not excited about an animated version of it, but, good for them. Yeah. Good for them. So.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my goodness. But Comcast, they're also doing some things. NBC's hit athletic competition series, The Titan Games, is returning for its second season on Monday, May 25th, hosted by and executive produced by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yeah.
The Titan Games will premiere a 2-hour-long episode beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern Time / Pacific Time.
Yes.
Yes.
I think anything that The Rock is involved with is a hit.
I agree.
I mean, and who's going to tell him no?
I know.
Am I getting renewed? Yes.
Yes, it's all you. So you got it.
You don't want to tell Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson you're not getting renewed.
No.
So, but this is like what? Like Ninja Warrior type, even Wipeout type kind of competition show, so fun to watch. I mean, it kind of makes sense.
I feel like I compare it to like The Gladiator or something like that, that old show, competition show.
Yeah, wow. You say a youngin', but Gladiators, that was
a
while ago,
stuff.
man.
I know some stuff.
Okay, all right. All right, now, and I can't wait to hear Rebecca's opinion on this one. This is going to be good. But now we're getting into the war that we were talking about at the top of the show. NBC Universal, so Universal Pictures, obviously. Their CEO, Jeff Shell, said, and I quote, "As soon as theaters reopen, we expect to release movies on both formats, indicating a day-and-date theatrical and video-on-demand shift as to how they want to put these movies out." Universal has been the leader in bringing hits to video-on-demand pretty much sooner than expected. And they've done that with the Invisible Man, Emma, The Hunt, and then of course their biggie, Trolls World Tour.
Yeah.
That thing apparently generated $100 million in the first 3 weeks on video on demand, and that's more than the entire run of the original Trolls movie in the theaters.
That's crazy.
So that's,
Wow.
I guess, their justification for it. Yeah, he was basically telling theaters that they're no longer the priority and that they're equal players, and he doesn't see one platform being more important than the other, and they're going to continue to release movies how they see fit. Now, anybody who doesn't know, there's a window that from the time that you can release in the theaters to when you're allowed to be on streamers or on video on demand or Redbox or anything like that. There's this window that you have to wait, this period of time that you have to wait. Well, apparently, with the pandemic, things have kind of shifted and people are releasing their movies early on video, and Universal likes it. They've made a lot of money, and they're basically saying, we're going to keep doing this. Fuck the window.
Yeah. Why do you have to publicly say it, though? Like, I mean, even if y'all were thinking about it, like, behind closed doors, why do you have to publicly say it?
Yeah.
It's just, I feel like that's unnecessary.
And their next one, the next one they plan on doing is The King of Staten.
Yeah.
Which is Pete Davidson's autobiographical comedy.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's a biggie. Directed by Judd Apatow and everything. It was supposed to be out, and so...
Yeah, it's supposed to follow... Pete Davidson's life and how he came up and got into SNL and all that good stuff. So I don't know, man. I don't understand why. Like I said, why did you have to say that? That's unnecessary. Like, the theater is always going to be a great place to go and take your family, and it's always going to. I hope it's always there because it is just such an amazing outing that kids will remember when they grow up.
Yeah, I agree. And so, of course, this did not go well. Like I said, it started a little bit of a war. AMC Theaters, which is the largest theater chain in the world, in response, AMC announced it will no longer carry or play any of Universal Studios films at any of its 1,000 locations, including the United States, Europe, and the Middle East.
Yeah, like, smack to the face.
Yep. And then apparently... Regal, the second largest theater chain in the country, followed suit and said that they will no longer do it as well. They're not going to show Universal Pictures films. Also.
Damn. Yeah, I mean,
so
awkward moment between the studios and the theaters. So I don't know how that's gonna play out.
I mean, so as someone who's in the industry, Rebecca, and an actor, and a part of how this all goes down, because you've had success, obviously. I mean, you see on like you brought it up earlier, To the Bone with Netflix and the different type films. There's a market for these streamers and for video on demand. And we've seen it work where Netflix will release a film and then just a few days later put it on Netflix.
Yeah.
Amazon, it works really well for Amazon. What's your thought on that? I mean, do you think that they should continue that? I think it's 90 days, like a 90-day window before they can do it. Do you think it should be that long, or do you think, whatever, release it at the same day? Or, I mean, what do you think?
I mean, I think it depends, on the movie. For like To the Bone, we did really well on Netflix because it's definitely a streaming movie.
Mm-hmm.
They played a week in theaters to qualify for the Oscars, but I don't know how it would have done if it had only played in theaters first. It's not necessarily a movie that you would take your family to see,
right?
Especially if you have kids. But it's a movie that while you're at home, you're like, oh yeah, I'll definitely watch this. So it's hard to say like that you shouldn't put it on, streaming. Especially right now, like what you can watch Trolls and those movies for like what, $20, which is a lot for if you only have like one person.
Yeah,
right. But if you have a family of 4 or 5, $20, that's like way cheaper than you would pay to go see it. Yeah. So that's why they've probably made so much money. $100 million.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, because your whole family can watch it for $20. But if you go to a theater in some of these larger markets, it's $20 a ticket.
Anyway,
so you got 4 or 5 people in the family, you're paying, well over $100. That's not even with the snacks.
Exactly.
So it makes sense. Again,
I think they'll probably come to some kind of agreement. I don't imagine them never playing Universal movies from now on. I mean, we have, like, it's funny because our AMC theater one of them is in Universal City Walk.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Yeah. Thank goodness they're closed right now.
Yeah, with Universal Studios like right next door to it. So.
Ooh, yeah. That'd be a little
Yeah.
contentious, wouldn't it?
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I'm sure they'll come to some kind of whatever, but I mean, I think movies have to do what they feel like is going to get the best, revenue for them.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know, it's tough.
You can't argue that. I mean, they're so expensive to make these days that you've got to try to recoup that budget, and you got to put it where you think you're going to make the money. I mean, you're right.
Yeah.
Just super crazy. And I mean, we've talked about it the past couple weeks as well. Maybe this virus is kind of like the end of the multiplexes. Like maybe it's going to go back to the 1 or 2 screen theaters where it's just an event for the tentpole movies. What do you think about that, for just having like the standalone tentpole movies in the theaters and then like kind of like the indie projects going to streaming?
I mean, I don't know. I like going to the movies.
Same.
Before all this, we had the AMC A list, and we saw, at least a movie every week.
Yeah.
Like including, the ones that you had, like Invisible Man. We saw The Hunt, which we really enjoyed and loved Invisible Man. Which, we could have watched those at home, but it's there's something magical about also going to the movies. Not every movie does well in the theater, which is why streaming is great and works well for some movies. But I think I would miss if it was only the Avengers was like the only thing there.
Right.
That would be,
I get, yeah, I see that. And if that does happen, like I said, I think you're going to see some of these smaller art films or indie films play back at like college bijous and like places like that. And because you still want to see it on a theatrical screen. I mean, I'm kind of down for it. Like, I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
All right, and we were just talking about Woody Harrelson, right? So this is interesting. Will Woody Harrelson be back?
I hope so, man.
Lionsgate has hired American Hustle scribe Eric Warren Singer. Now You See Me 3.
I loved both of them.
Me too.
I would really love for all of the original cast to come back. Like the original OG cast from like the first one.
Exactly.
I was kind of a little upset that some of the people didn't come back for the second one. But I mean, business.
But come on,
business.
Harry Potter was in it. Harry Potter was in the second one, and you're a big Harry Potter fan.
I am.
I did, though. I thought the first one was like really original and like a unique thing we hadn't seen in a while.
I agree.
And I really enjoyed it. But I guess that's kind of good news because they said that this one is going to be a new take. He's going to introduce new characters into the franchise, but leave it open for a possibility to have the originals in it. So I guess it's going to focus on a new group, but I guess somehow have cameos for the old crew.
Yeah.
So
it's all about building a universe now.
It is every day. Yeah, I think that as awesome as the MCU is, they have changed the game, and now everybody wants a universe.
Yeah.
And I'm just not sure it's the right thing to do with every franchise.
Yeah, certain projects. It's like,
I don't know. Were you a fan of the first one, Rebecca? Now you see.
Huge fan. Yeah, I love anything magic, so count me in for any of them.
Yeah, right. And Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Anything with Morgan Freeman is just... I still want him to narrate my life.
Right.
I just want Morgan Freeman or Nikki James. Either one of those two to narrate my life, and I would be happy.
Exactly.
Both are awesome.
I don't know, man. I watched the Meghan Markle Elephants documentary, and I'd have her narrate my life. I'm just saying.
or Meghan Markle. Okay, whatever, she's cool. Loved her on Suits. All right, yeah. Meghan Markle. Let's put all that down.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, yeah, I can't take this one. You've got to do it because this is your guy.
Yes,
this is your guy.
Kevin Smith has announced that he has finished the second Mallrats script, Twilight of Mallrats, the sequel of the cult favorite Mallrats from 1995. Yes. He said, it is gonna come out, guys. You see my Funko on the YouTube video, still in the box because we cannot damage that. Comic-Con exclusive, but oh my goodness, I'm so excited about that, and bringing all the original cast members back, and so epic.
It's going to be really cool. It's set 25 years after the original.
Of course.
So, of
Makes
course.
Sense.
And like you said, all of the originals are back, and it's set up, speaking of building a universe, this was actually suggested by a fan. And now they're kind of moving forward with this, building the Askew-niverse.
Yes.
So, Askew is the name of his production company. So Askew-niverse is how they're going to do it. And the premise, I guess, is they imagine about what happens when the sidewalk sales end and Happily Ever After is easier to say than it is to live. I guess it's like a mall apocalypse.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
so goofy.
Jay and Silent Bob with the rest of the gang with a mall apocalypse.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't want to see it?
Exactly.
So
I mean, he talked a little bit on it on the Jay and Silent Bob Reboot Roadshow, which we were so fortunate enough to get to go see. And it was just epic to see his passion for all of his projects, man.
It's true. And his appreciation for the fans that see them. And his story about how he basically got screwed by the Weinsteins with the whole, but was able to screw them back and get Jay and Silent Bob. That was awesome to hear. So, big Kevin Smith fans, and we're excited about this. You like Kevin Smith? You better not say no. J-Lo will be very mad. No.
Yes. No, I mean, I haven't seen the original movie in a long time, but I'm down. I'm down for a sequel.
Definitely. I hope they do a Chasing Amy sequel.
Oh, it'd be so good.
Especially after the last Jay and Silent Bob, when they had like what was going on with the characters. I would love to see that follow up.
And
man.
him and Ben are on good terms now.
Yeah, they're buddies again. So
I am your father. Inside joke between both of them. It's really weird.
Ben found the way back.
Yeah,
and it's all good. It's okay. Speaking of, that's the last movie we saw. By the way, I went and looked back. The Way Back was the last film we saw in theaters before all this shit started.
Yeah,
so
that's crazy.
It was a good one. If you haven't seen it, Rebecca, The Way Back, it's really good.
I haven't yet. Yeah,
it's a good one. I mean, it's basically his life story, after the whole addiction, but it's really good, really good. So yeah, you were pumped about that, obviously.
So
Netflix. We can't not talk about Netflix, right?
Of course.
The creator of Orange is the New Black, Genji Kohan, she's working on a quarantine anthology series. This makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody's got this idea now, like, what are you doing at home when you're stuck at quarantine?
For sure.
Let's show everybody what we're doing. So, and they're doing it really interesting, though. So, like, they're creating and producing virtually. So the cast and crew, and everybody doesn't have to be involved with staying with each other or being around each other. The writers never meet. They're all writing from their houses or doing it all separate.
So crazy.
The director directed the talent remotely, so I'm guessing like Zoom or on that format or whatever. And all of the actors performed all their own scenes from their living rooms.
Epic.
So, and then they bring this all together and edit it and kind of put it out there. And like, so,
I love that we're still making projects.
I mean, right? Like, Hollywood will not be deterred. They were like, we will find a way. Our friends Spencer Garrett and Jeremy Gordon, they're doing that with their little soap opera series, Quarantine.
I love it. So good.
Yeah, and thankfully the technology like Zoom exists.
Yeah.
That you can do this kind of stuff. So
it's a beautiful thing, man. Technology can be so great sometimes.
Yeah, well, and obviously a lot of the creators are using it. And Rebecca, you've done a really good job. A lot of these Instagram videos where you're teaming up and like doing videos with other people, kind of a thing. I think it's a really cool thing to do during quarantine, so.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have much else to do, so.
These watch parties. You should do a watch party with To The Bone, Rebecca.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Or even the episode with
it's just such a sad movie.
Right.
It is, but you could tell all kinds of cool stuff. Or you could do it with the Candy Snatcher. Just do just do Esther. That'd be awesome too. That would be epic. Like or kill people. You've got so many good things you could do a watch party with. I mean, it would be so good.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, speaking of watch party, not too many more of these.
Yeah.
Fuller House.
Yeah.
Maybe Aunt Becky can do one from prison.
Ooh.
Fuller. That'd be an interesting watch party, wouldn't it?
Right.
Fuller House is going to drop the final episodes June 2nd.
Okay.
Yeah. The last time we saw it, they had to split the season, I guess, because of the whole COVID thing or whatever. Yeah. So the last time we actually saw any episodes in the final season was December.
Damn.
Back in December.
Yeah.
So it's coming back June 2nd, and that's going to be it. It's going to be the final goodbye.
I mean, this is my final goodbye. I like that. This is a proven thing right here that reboots could possibly work. They did a reboot the right way.
They did do it the right way.
Yeah.
So I think if it's a beloved series see, I think the reboot is a bad idea. I think the revisit is a good idea.
Yeah.
Like if we move forward and like where are they now?
Yeah.
Kind of. I think those work really well. I think when they try to reboot a franchise, I think it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I think it was really good. I don't think it was as good as the original, so I'm kind of okay. They're wrapping it all up. I feel like they wrapped it up pretty good.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it ends. Obviously, I won't know until June.
You won't.
But we do know Aunt Becky won't be there though.
Yeah. It's like that.
I'm excited though. I loved the original Full House. Was like the first show I remember really watching. I was like 3 when it came out.
Yes.
I think
Shut your
originally.
mouth. Shut your mouth.
Hey, I just aged myself.
That's
so.
all right, and me too. But that's okay.
It's okay, Gaffy.
I was young
I was
when it
not
came
3.
out.
Yeah, I was not 3.
But that was like my first show that like every week we watched. And at first I loved Stephanie, and then I loved Michelle, and so as cheesy as the new one is, I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. I've watched all of them. I love the jokes back to the original. I just think it's great. So
You know what I'm really hoping for though? I just don't think they're going to get the twins back.
I know.
But I had heard a rumor that Scarlet Witch there.
Yeah.
Elizabeth.
Oh, Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. Yeah. I heard a rumor that she would be willing to come back and play Michelle.
Oh, wow.
And she looks so much like them that it would be a running joke that she comes back and she looks just a tad different. But like I think that would be hilarious. I think somehow.
Especially because like when we finished with them, they were like what 11?
Yeah.
No, not even. Like they were like 8. I think 8 or 9. So there's not like we'd believe it.
Right,
exactly.
That was her grown up. I'm like just one episode, just one.
Exactly. If you can't get the actual twins back, bring back A. Olsen, right? Like just get it done. Get it done. So yeah. Let's see. They've also secured the distribution rights. Talking about Netflix, A Week Away, a faith-based musical starring Bailey Madison, who was huge on Good Witch, big Hallmark channel actress, and I mean she's had some stuff.
Yeah.
Sherry Shepherd. So we know right now faith-based. It's faith-based, and I'm about to say it's kicking ass, but faith-based movies they're doing really well. That's right, they're doing really well.
That's so funny because reminiscing back to our 100th episode, we also had a section of the industry news where we were talking about another faith-based film.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think there's a need for them right now. I think that audiences are connecting with them right now.
Yeah.
They're also one of the rare things that are relatively inexpensive to make and yet generate huge profits.
Great.
Whether it be at the theater or video on demand.
Yeah.
So it only makes sense that Netflix would get on this,
Agreed. It makes sense.
So, and Bailey, I mean, if you're going to do a faith-based and you're going to base it on a streamer, you pluck somebody from Hallmark, right?
For sure.
That totally makes sense. I mean, gotta get that.
Hell yeah.
Let's see, Amazon.
Yeah, man.
Continuing the streamers.
Always. I mean, they are the most recent company to partner with the NFL, and they have inked a multi-year extension deal for Thursday Night Football, which, I mean, is amazing because after, I think it's after the first 4 game, then you can watch the Thursday Night Football highlights, or not the highlights, but the actual game on Prime. So
yeah,
and I'm glad this is just going to keep going. I wish it was all of the season, but
yeah, and they've added one exclusive game per year, so they're sticking to that whole thing. This is much better than this makes much more sense to me to continue this deal.
Yeah.
Than that whole Nickelodeon thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to see my NFL games on Nickelodeon with SpongeBob. I just don't. I didn't understand that deal. This one makes much more sense. And Amazon, what a portal, right? They get to stream it on more than 200 different countries.
Yeah.
So, and American football is extremely popular overseas. So it makes total sense to me that they would do that.
Super excited about it.
We know we won't even ask you, Rebecca, because as you've established, if it's not the Dallas Cowboys, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
And I'm okay with this. I am okay with this. We had a good draft. I think this is going to be a good year for us. And
I hope so.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
So goofy. Now it's time for Own Oprah. We love Oprah. Everybody knows.
That's right. As we know, the only O that matters.
Yeah, right. We established that last week.
Yes, we did.
Oprah is launching a new unscripted Saturday night blocking and has ordered 2 virtually produced series for her own network, Own.
Right. If you're going to have a network, you own.
Yeah, exactly.
I own this shit.
I own this shit. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got, let's see, Fear Not with Elania Van Zant and Girlfriends Check In. So that's going to be the 2 little, show block on Saturday nights.
Epic.
Yeah. And their statement was, Oprah's statement, through her company,
yeah.
Now more than ever before we want to provide our audience with programming that unites us and uplifts us.
There you go.
So, I mean,
Makes so much sense. And I mean, she's just killing it. She's so freaking active in the entertainment industry. It's crazy.
Yeah. And let's see. Fear Not with Alanya there. It's going to feature Alanya. No. Offering her guidance during the pandemic. It's going to include guests such as Oprah, BB Winans, and even financial advisors to kind of like help guide you through if you're struggling with finances and stuff. So, you know, Oprah, she always got to drop some knowledge.
So good.
Can't just be entertaining. She got to drop knowledge too. Girlfriends Check-In is going to bring different groups of female celebrity friends together for virtual get-togethers to share like laughter and support and gossip. Oprah and her friends gossiping.
That's so good.
Sit
down on the couch, have a little wine.
Like, I want to be there. I want to gossip with Oprah. Like, I mean, does it have to be all female friends? Why can't it just be male friends gossiping with Oprah too? Like, where's Stedman?
I know, right?
You know Gail's going to be there, but where will Stedman be?
Oh, my goodness.
You're not involved, Stedman. Like, you know.
That's so funny.
Rebecca, we're going to call Oprah up and see if you can go. It's going to be awesome.
That'd be great. I'm down.
What would you discuss with Oprah? Like, seriously, if you were sitting across from Oprah, what would you ask?
I would just be like, tell me all the things.
Exactly. Tell me all of the things about everything. Like
Oprah is the great Zen master. Tell me everything.
And I'll just sit and listen.
That's right. That's right. How can I achieve?
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my God.
That's so freaking funny.
Honesty. I love Rebecca. Honest. The honest answer is I'd ask her tell me everything.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And I mean, other huge freaking award things going on. Daytime Emmys, the National Academy of Television Arts and Science, has announced that the 47th Annual Daytime Emmy Awards will carry on without an in-person ceremony this year.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's right. Like, I mean, sorry, Eric Braeden and like all the Young and the Restless and all the, daytime Emmys, like Jeopardy and like all those, man.
That sucks.
Not going to be in person this year.
Yeah.
What?
And I mean, I bet they'll be record setting for that as well, just to see how it's going to go down.
Oh, I mean, everybody that tunes into, I mean, most of the audience I feel like for Daytime Emmy Awards is for the soap operas.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, the talk shows, like Ellen and stuff, but I feel like that majority of that audience tunes in for the soap opera awards. And, they'll be turning in droves, I would guess.
Yeah.
They're also going to combine it with sports, news, documentary, and technology. You know how they always do the technology and engineering kind of stuff? Same way the Oscars do. They do that off screen, in a different ceremony type thing.
Yeah.
They're going to combine all that this year and do it all together.
Yeah. So it's be interesting, man. We're in such a weird time.
Award shows via Zoom.
Yeah,
it's so weird.
I
mean, if the Oscars end up being that way, that is going to be like the weirdest thing ever.
That would suck. But, I mean, Tom Hanks is here to save us. No matter what's going on, Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson are here to save us. They have donated their blood to help cure COVID-19.
It's true.
Yeah.
There's a reason why he's known as the nicest man in Hollywood.
I know.
I mean, he lives up to it every day. And you saw this one little fan, I guess he kind of wrote him something and, it wrote him a letter and he wanted to do this kind of, and Tom Hanks sent him like this old vintage typewriter that he had, and said, learn how to use it and write me back with the typewriter kind of a thing. It was a little kid who had gone through some stuff with COVID and stuff. I mean, he's so just ridiculously nice.
I know. Makes me want to cry sometimes.
It's just, Tom Hanks. Who doesn't love Tom Hanks?
I know.
And if there's anybody's blood that will find a cure for COVID, it's going to be Tom Hanks. It's unbelievable.
I'd take Tom Hanks' blood.
Yeah, and Hank scene.
Hank scene.
The Hank scene instead of vaccine. I love that, the Hank scene. I guess we'll find out. It says at least 12 to 18 months to actually formulate it all, and if it does work, find a cure kind of a thing. So a year from now, maybe we'll all have some of Tom Hanks in us. Tom Hanks' blood, it's okay. It's all right.
Oh, my goodness, man.
I'll take it.
Exactly. Who doesn't want Tom Hanks' blood? It's like, give me a vial. I'll pay whatever. It's going to be vials of Tom Hanks' blood. It's going to be on the black market. It's going to be great.
Oh, my goodness. That's so great.
All right. Now, the biggest news of industry news. And, Rebecca.
Rebecca Kennedy.
Of course. We have to talk about, we mentioned, Special Victims Unit just Absolutely brilliant.
So
We
good.
always talk about it. Whenever it's on. We seem to always catch it whenever it's on too. It's like, oh shit, there it is.
We're so lucky.
I mean, it's like so badass. So okay, so you got the Dick Wolf franchise, right? So now, of course, you got to go to Shonda. Yeah. You got to move to Shondaland because I mean that's where you go after Dick Wolf. You go to Shondaland. Tell everybody you're going to be on this week's Station 19. Yes.
So not tonight.
No.
Because there's an episode tonight, but next week,
yes.
May 7th.
Yes.
I will be guest starring, like you said, on Station 19. So I've been a huge fan of the Shondaland universe for a long time, a huge Grey's Anatomy fan. Yes. So I was totally stoked to get to work on it, and everyone's so nice. And I can't say anything about my role. I'm under strict instructions not to reveal anything.
Totally.
It would be a huge spoiler, but
damn it.
Maybe I can come on after.
Oh, we're definitely having you come on after.
Of course.
Without doubt. So what was the cast like? I mean, because, we've heard all these stories about the cast of Grey's Anatomy and how they are and how familial they are and like a bonded type group or whatever. Did you find that same type atmosphere on Station 19?
Yeah, I mean, they're so nice. I mean, there were some actors there, which this isn't a spoiler because that was in the press release, that were also from Grey's that were coming to be on the episode.
Nice.
So, yeah, I mean, they've been working together for that cast for 3 years. And then, of course, the people from Grey's have been working forever. And so it's always, I always say it's a little weird coming in at first because you're not really sure how you're going to fit in because they've been working together for so long. And they're kind of, just a well-oiled machine by that point.
Right.
But they were still welcoming and encouraging and supportive and kind and so nice. Like my friend Emma is actually on the episode tonight. And we were talking, we're like, why are they so nice? And inclusive, like, at lunch, they're like, oh, come sit with us. Don't sit by yourself. We're not to say that not everyone's nice, but some cast of shows, because they've been doing it so long, they don't necessarily eat with everyone else. They kind of take that time for themselves, which I totally get because otherwise they don't get any. But they ate lunch with the rest of us, which was really nice. So I wasn't just like by myself.
There you go.
So they were just really kind. I have nothing but lovely things to say about them. And I'm really excited for everyone to see the episode because I think you're going to really like it. And it's a different character for me. I can say that.
Ooh. Oh, wait. A different character.
Interesting.
Now I'm really excited.
I know, right?
Now I'm really excited. So, and what were the chances of that? Of you and one of your besties, like, being on the same show and then being able to talk about that? That's kind of cool, right?
Yeah. I mean, I saw on Instagram she was working on something and me being nosy and wanting to be supportive, I was like, what are you working on? Because I just seen her, and she hadn't said anything. And she's like, oh, I just found out on Monday night that I booked Station 19. And I was like, oh my God, that's so amazing. And then, so I found out that for her, like on a Monday. And then I had an audition on Friday.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, hey, Emma, I'm going in for the show. And then Monday night I had booked it and I was on set on starting Tuesday. So it was very, a kismet, experience for sure.
That is and so awesome.
When I was on set, I was like, my friend was just on the episode before this. Like, oh my God.
Well, and I just that's fantastic, and I can't wait to see what a different character is.
I know.
That is
going to
be so cool. And you guys got to you and Emma got to keep doing more videos because y'all stuff together is freaking hilarious. By the way, I think they are so funny. Especially we haven't seen a reenactment in a while. You guys got to get back on those reenactments because they are just.
Oh, I know. Well, we haven't. She's in Texas, so we haven't been. They pretty much after the industry shut down, her and her mom went back. Because her family's in Texas, so we haven't been hanging out, so we haven't been able to do any. But we'll definitely have to pick that back up.
All right, you got we got Zoom now, Rebecca. Okay, you guys got to do a Zoom reenactment. Okay, all right, I'm just saying.
It'd be so good.
That would be interesting.
It would be interesting.
My friend Kayla. I did a Instagram live with her. I don't know if you guys caught it. Not this week, but last week. She's on The Flash, and she and her husband. She wrote this cute little short film, and I say cute. It's she's like playing I shouldn't say cute. It's really well done in their apartment, just her and him, and she's playing like a zombie, but can talk. It's like, and so it's like after the pandemic as if like we turned into zombies.
Oh,
And then
that's
her
good.
husband's like a regular guy.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're quarantined, let's hang out together. There's been one episode so far. It's on her Instagram, Kayla Compton, if you guys haven't checked it out. But we were joking about how I was like, oh, I'm so jealous because I told my husband you were doing that. And he was kind of like, cool. Like, I'm not going to do that.
Brandon's like, no. Does it involve singing or a bachelor? No.
No.
Yeah. So my friend was like, if I write something for you, will you? And I was like, yes. So she's writing me a short film that I can film inside my apartment.
Yes.
And I told my husband, I was like, you're going to have to help me because I can't record it and be in it. So he agreed.
Well, there you go. So that's going to be awesome.
I haven't read it yet, so I don't know what it's going to be about, but I'm super excited to get it.
That's great.
That's kind of more exciting. You have no idea what it's going to be about.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, awesome. So now, yeah, you're definitely going to have to come back, talk about Station 19 and your short film.
Definitely.
I mean, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, once I can actually, once you guys have seen it, then we can actually talk about it because, yeah, it's not, I can't say much, so.
We knew. It's okay. We just wanted to let the
good.
world know to watch it. So
Exactly.
Yes. I think it's going to be a really good episode. And another friend of mine is actually, Ivana is actually on the episode tonight as well. She plays the mom of Danielle. So I have like so many friends that are on stuff right now. It's so awesome.
That is really good news. So I mean, it's always fun, like to see people, doing it and living the dream. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, now it is time for our guest segment. We got the one and only, well, not the one and only, because it's not the other one from This Is Us, but we got Mandy Moore coming on this show.
Mandy Moore. Nope, not her.
Nope, not her. From Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. Oh my goodness, she was just phenomenal to talk to. I'm so excited for everybody to hear this one.
I know, and and not just, of course, everybody's talking about Zoe's right now because it's so original and such a unique thing, and it's just like whooping ass right now. But how many people, I was shocked to find out, when we were doing the research and getting ready to interview her, that she's the mastermind behind La La Land, all the choreography in La La Land, and that big epic dance scene on the freeway and shit, and like Silver Linings Playbook, and
good.
And all this kind of stuff, and how her and Austin met. It's just a really fun interview. I think people are she was a lot of fun.
I agree. And I mean, so many like pieces of advice that she leaves for the up and comers. I'm just so excited for everybody to hear this one.
Yes, and I'm gonna hold her too, teaching me to dance.
Yeah, you should.
I'm like, I want to be a ballroom dancer.
He's gonna be on the next Dancing with the Stars.
That's right.
So funny. Well, here she is.
Mandy Moore, welcome inside the Crazy Ant Farm. How are you today?
I am excellent. I'm in the old quarantine land, but I'm good, healthy, happy, and safe. So
there you go.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. We are super pumped. I know the listeners are going to be pumped. We always get a huge response whenever we have anybody from the show on. Zoe's is a huge hit. We love it. The listeners love it. So we could not be more happy to talk to you today. And you have the dubious distinction. We have had many actors, actresses, producers, writers, directors, but you are our first choreographer, so we are super pumped.
Yes, this is amazing. I love this.
You take the title.
That's right. You take the title. So, of course, we want to talk all about Zoe's, but what we like to do first is kind of introduce you a little bit to our listeners and kind of talk about the background, how you got into it, how you made the transition into the entertainment field, and all that kind of good stuff. So, how did you get started? Did you always know you wanted to be a dancer? Was it always in the cards, or how'd that all come about?
Yeah, well, I am from a very, very small town in Colorado, Frisco, Colorado. It's a mountain ski town. And I was a psycho kid dancing everywhere. And luckily there was this like amazing little local dance studio. And my mom saw the actual owner in the post office one day and said, I have this kid that will not stop dancing. And so my parents put me into the classes at the studio, and I just grew up loving that place so much. I was that kid that went in my first day and I just had felt like that's it. Like I found what I should be doing, which sounds so weird. I mean, I was like 8, but I just loved being in class. I loved the music. I loved moving. I loved the instruction, the challenge. And I ended up very quickly. Like, I think I started with tap and ballet. And before you knew it, a month later, I was already signed up for break dancing and belly dancing and modern and jazz. I mean, I could not get enough. So I was at the studio 7 days a week, all day, every day.
Sure.
And yeah, I mean, it's odd because I think at a young age, I really knew that this is what I wanted to do. I didn't know maybe how you could do it, but I knew that dance for me was that was it. Like, I've never wanted to do anything else in my whole life.
That's awesome.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
You can hear the passion in your voice just talking about it. So that's amazing. So I like that you brought that up. Then let's talk about that. How do you? This is what I want to do. I'm passionate about it. I love every second of it. But like you said, you're not sure how can I do this? Or what do I do as a living for this? So how does that path come about? Where do you go after you're 8 and you decide this is your passion? Let's talk about how you move forward from there.
Well, I think what's interesting is, I come from a very supportive family. So my parents were in the arts. My mom and dad worked at a community theater. My mom was a director and my dad was an actor. And so I understood, I think, at an early age that you could make a living or that you could spend your time doing something artistic. So that wasn't new. But on the flip side, I was this kind of weird anomaly in my family where I was the only one who danced. And so in middle school, my mom and dad really looked for kind of outlets for me during the summer. So I would go to performing arts camps. And I went to this one in Steamboat Springs called Perry Mansfield. And I think at that point in my kind of dance education, I started to understand that there were people that were parts of companies and, different parts of the country that would come and teach us. So I was like, oh, cool. Like, you can actually get paid to teach and choreograph and dance. I in my small mind, I think that's where I was kind of first understood the idea of actually, like, this could be something that I could do past, just high school or whatever. And, I used to watch tons of the movies. I'm a kid of the 80s, so I just loved Footloose and Flashdance and like, those films were so cool. And just to see these people dancing, I turned 18 and I just thought, oh, I'm going to LA.
There you
I'm
go.
stupid. I didn't know any better. So I think it was like an ignorance of bliss thing, honestly. And I was at a dance studio my last couple years of high school in Denver. I would also train at my small studio, but I'd go to Denver, and I had this teacher that took us to LA for one summer, and I took classes at a professional studio in LA. And again, I think that just opened my brain up to, like, oh, there's someone I just saw in that movie taking class with me.
Right.
Oh, okay. This is how you do this. And then, as any kid does, you just start to ask questions. And I knew that there weren't any college programs for what I wanted to do. I wanted to dance in film and television, and there were none, if very few, programs that that would offer that kind of training. So I moved to LA when I was 18 and just started dancing at professional studios. And you live in LA, so it's all about networking. You find people and you meet someone and you take class, and then that person asks you to assist here, and then before you know it, you're like, oh my God, I'm choreographing on So You Think. Like, how is that possible?
Absolutely. I love that. First of all, you've moved way up on my list of favorites because you're an 80s child. Me too.
Amazing.
80s rule. So I love that, though. There is no real path, so you make one. You go out there and say, this is how I'm going to do it. I got to find it. This is what I want to do, and you do it. I love that.
Yeah, for sure. I think with dance especially, and, I don't know tons about where you guys come from, and I can't wait to learn more about you too, but I think it's one of those, like, weird paths that there's no right way, and a lot, especially with dance. I think concert dance, you can go to a very reputable school, and that might open up some doors for you in companies. But as far as commercial dance, you just got to go and try it. And there's on the job training. Same thing, I think, for Broadway. There's maybe some schools that you can go to that might help funnel you into the business. But also, you just, like, you go to New York and you audition and you figure it out, and you learn very quickly when you're a turd ball at an audition what you need to do to fix it.
Absolutely.
Definitely. And talk about that a little bit, the auditioning process, because we have a lot of actors that come on and talk about their auditioning practice, but like for choreographers and for dancers trying to get into especially musicals like La La Land, hint hint, nudge nudge, is it like the same type of audition process? Do they have to go on the website and apply, or how does that work?
Well, what's interesting about LA, and I'm not as familiar with New York, so I can't really speak about that, but in LA, there are, there's dance agents and people that they're just like an actor would have. So as a choreographer and as a young dancer, you really look to those agencies to help get the information about an audition or to get information about an audition to dancers. So, for a while there, it was about, when I first went to LA, it was about looking in the trades. They would have, so much of that was like, oh, there's an audition today at 4, and you get that information through the trades.
Right.
But, the dance agency world has grown a lot in the last 20 years. So that's kind of like the first place that you go to. I mean, I'm represented by an agent. Most dancers in LA are, that work professionally. And so you kind of, that's the through line. Now for La La Land, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
I mean, definitely by far one of my favorite films of all time. The opening sequence is fantastic.
So good.
I mean, the moonlight dance is just brilliant. Everything about it. I mean, we just absolutely adored that film. So, yeah, definitely let's talk about that. And another one I want to talk about, too, is Silver Linings Playbook because, I mean, the dance in there is as much a character as the rest of the characters, I thought. Played a pivotal role in that film. So what's the process like that in that? I mean, how closely do you work with the director and the people to choose the music? Are you involved in the choosing of the music? Do they kind of come to you and say, this is what we're thinking, this is what we want to do? Or how does that whole process work?
Yeah, well, it's different for every job for sure. But for Silver Linings Playbook, that was my first film. Basically, that was my first film, like, especially it's a big film, actually.
Absolutely. I love it. For a first, that was a pretty bold move, right?
Epic.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And it was very weird how I got the job because there was another choreographer that had been working with David O. Russell, the director, and it wasn't working out for timing, creative, whatever. Bottom line, he was let go. And I somehow got a call with him and later found out that the executive producer's wife was a fan of my work on So You Think. So that's kind of how that happened. They reached out to my agent. I got on this call with this director guy named David O. Russell, which thank God I was too ignorant to even know who he was because I would have been so nervous to talk to him. And I had just seen The Fighter, which is one of my favorite films.
Right. Oh, so good.
Yeah, I didn't connect that was him. I'm on this call with him. He's telling me about this crazy dance scene he wants to do in his next film. And somehow I got the job. Who knows? Flew to Philadelphia. And I mean, to say that I worked closely with David would be an understatement. I mean, I basically, ate, slept, breathed everything about Silver Linings for 3 months in Philly and I can't tell you how many versions of that number. I mean, it was in the hundreds for sure.
Oh, wow.
Every day we were redoing different parts of it. And, David's process is very, very organic and it's very of the moment. And when he knows he doesn't like it, he doesn't like it. He wants to scrap everything and start over. Or he might be like, I like that one move. I hate this song.
Yeah.
It was a very crazy, incredibly challenging and amazing process. And I worked very closely with him. And I'm so thankful for him and his time and in that film. And first of all, the film was incredible.
Absolutely.
I also didn't even know. Like, I think if I had, again, ignorance, if I had known how important that final scene was, oh my God. I mean, I probably never even would have called him back, but luckily I didn't really know. I kind of didn't understand the tone of the film. When I read the script, I was like, I don't really get this. And then, getting in there and creating it and working with Bradley and Jennifer, I mean, it was like, and David, I mean, he would just, for hours, guys, like, I don't even know how to really explain this, but it was very closely aligned and many versions of those songs cut together because, in that particular film, there were so many different songs that were a part of that. And, whereas then almost the direct opposite, but still very closely aligned with how I worked with the director was Damien and La La Land. When I read the script, I was sent most of those demos from Damien and Justin, and they were in very beautiful shape at that point, like they were fully realized demos. So when I was reading the script and talking to Damien, I was working with a roadmap that pretty much already existed as far as the music.
Right.
So it was just about understanding where Damien wanted to go with the storytelling of the moment. And he's very clear about how he likes to shoot things too, which is a dream as a choreographer because, he basically tells you, I want the camera facing here and it's going to go like this. And you're like, great. Okay. I just have to fill in the frame, and I've got to make sure that it works.
So you block around his camera blocking then, right? Yeah. I mean, you choreograph to the way he wants to block the camera.
Yeah, in that particular film, yes, Damien's very visual, and so he sees in his mind when he's listening to the music, he knows, I want this to pull back for 10 seconds, and then we'll talk about, okay, well, what are you seeing in that frame? And it's like, well, I think I see something like this or that, and then I'll go, well, what about this? And it's a really collaborative process in that way,
right?
Because he's not a dancer and he's not a choreographer, but he really loves movement and timing, and is actually a good dancer. He'll never admit that, but he is.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I was going to say, spending all the time with them and all the stuff that goes into it, the knowledge that each of you must learn from the other has got to be amazing. I mean, to be able to do that. Okay, so let's talk about it though, and you can spill the beans here. Nobody's listening. We promise. Shh. How were Bradley and Jen and Emma and Ryan? Could they dance? Could they not dance? Did they? I mean, did you have to beat them into shape? What went down there?
Well, there's always an element as a choreographer that you have to kind of beat people into shape for sure, because it's like you end up being this like coach, therapist, like, I feel like I'm like a boot camp, like Marine sergeant at times, and friend and peer, so it's a really cool process to get to create, especially with those kind of like very high level actors that are just at the top of their game. And they're all four so different. So, it's funny. You really learn a lot about somebody when you're learning to dance together, because it's really vulnerable, and a lot of people have some very funny hangups about dance, but I don't know where it comes from. Like maybe it's like a middle school thing or something where like someone told you can't dance or something. I don't know. It's a very odd thing, and luckily, and Silver Linings always does such a different film than La La Land. But what was kind of interesting about both those films is that, none of those characters were supposed to be perfect dancers. They were supposed to be humans in this moment. And it was really neat to like create from that space and realize like we weren't trying to hit a perfection as far as maybe a line or a transition or a texture, but really get to the root of the intention of the movement and the moment and the emotion and create from that. And you can't ask for better people to do that with than great actors, because they're all about that. Like it's all about, what the story is, what the intention is, what the moment is. And I'm not even really going to spill any beans, because like Bradley I worked so hard and like so hard on himself. And then Jen was like, good luck for you. Like, good luck. You're going to try and get me to dance. And I was like, oh, sister, we are. And like, we would have the best time. And she, like her character was so brilliant in that film and just like kind of a mess. And like the way she played that final scene, when she does the lift and she's like on top of him.
Absolutely.
And like, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. And that's all her, she's so good. And then, Emma is hysterically like particular. And then Ryan would be like, I didn't quite get that, but I really wants to practice it. So yeah, just their little personalities were so fun. And what they all had in common is they wanted to work. They wanted to do it, and get in rehearsal, which was great.
Awesome. And we should mention before we transition into the biggie that we want to talk about, of course. I mean, you also have done choreography for the Oscars, Golden Globes, Emmys. You're an Emmy winner yourself, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
What's that like? I mean, that's got to be a lot of pressure, right? So like the most people watching ever, and you have these big, huge dance numbers.
How much practice does it take? Like, how long do you get to have to rehearse?
Well, for the Oscars, what was really cool is that, well, first of all, my dear friend Raj Kapoor was a co-EP on the show, and he is a choreographer dancer, and so it was really nice to have somebody on the production side that understands dance, because sometimes there are people that are whole productions that no one really understands, like the craft and like what it takes. And thank God he knows that, you can't throw something together in 3 hours and get it on television. So, we had some really beautiful time for the Oscars, the La La Land performance on the Oscars. We had, I want to say 3 8-hour days, which is amazing. And the nice thing is like, I'm so closely aligned with La La Land. So, I had a little bit of a leg up.
Yeah.
I know it back and forth, and kind of have like a, direct line to Damien and so Justin. So that was really nice. And I just wanted to make something, and we, as the production for Oscars too, just wanted to make something that celebrated the film because it was such a huge film that year. And, the 2 songs that they actually chose to put in there didn't originally have dance in them.
Oh.
And so it was nice to like find a world that kind of we almost created, like, I guess I'd call it a dream ballet for La La Land, you know, just to show kind of all the elements that everyone would love and remember. And it was a huge moment, you know, not only for me personally to be able to do that, but also just for the community of dance, you know. And we hired, I think, over 100 dancers from the LA area in La La Land originally. And, you know, being on the Oscars, those dancers that got to be on the Oscars, I think it was like 30 of them. It was like a huge moment.
Definitely.
You know, we don't always get to do stuff like that. So it was really cool.
Wow, that's okay. So how does Zoe's come in? Does Austin call you? Do you call Austin and be like, "I got to be on this show"? Right, because we talk about this all the time, but it's so unbelievably brilliant and original, and like nothing that it has been done before in this type of a way, you know. So the second we saw it, we were like, "Wow, this is going to be huge. This is going to grab on." How does that even work? Like I said, did he call you up and say, "I've got this idea," and you were like, "Yes," or how's that go down?
It's actually, well, first of all, thank you for being such fans and saying what you just said, because we have really tried to make this a unique show, and I just makes me so happy that people are getting it. So thank you. It's a funny story, and I'll tell the short version. Basically, I was at a lunch. I was invited to a lunch for another project, and Austin was also invited. We were having another, and I didn't know Austin was Austin. I'll get there in a second. But I went to this lunch. This guy, Austin, was invited as well as a writer to possibly work on this other project. Go into the lunch. Austin's like, "Hey, Mandy." I was like, "Hi." He was like, "Hey, I was in the wedding party for that dance you created for my best friends like 10, 15 years ago."
Oh, wow.
Cut to, yes. I was in my first year or so. You think this woman at Fox had really good friends that were fans of the show, blah, 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 wanted their first dance choreographed by me. I was like, okay, cool, whatever. I don't have anything else going on. And did that. Austin was in it.
Oh, wow. My goodness.
It's so crazy. Then cut to 10, 15 years later, and we're at this lunch. We reconnect. I remember his face. I was like, oh, yeah, you were a rascal. I remember you were a complete rascal on that number. And we said goodbye, exchanged numbers, and about a week later, he sent me the script for the pilot, and he said that it looked like this pilot was going to get picked up. Would I read the script? Would I be interested in being involved? Of course, I read the script, and immediately I just thought, this is magic. I love this. I see this world immediately. I love his writing. I love that it's a comedy and drama, and it's got dance and performance and songs with real humans. Like I was already in. And so I called him back and I said, yeah, I would love to. And he's like, great, you have the job. And I was like, oh God, what do I do now? Yeah. So that's kind of how it all started.
That's fair. Well, we have to say both Austin and Andrew spoke so highly of you and the importance of you to the show and your contribution, you know, week in and week out. And we couldn't agree more, obviously.
Thank you.
Especially the dance routine with the deaf dancers and the performance there, that was absolutely phenomenal.
It was brilliant.
I mean,
I haven't seen anything like that before on television or ever, honestly.
True. I mean, no, my nickname is The Mouth, and I was speechless.
Yeah,
I couldn't even say anything. Like I was like, wow. So let's talk about that process too. You brought it up a little bit earlier, and I think it plays really heavily into Zoe. She said, you know, about dance that there's a vulnerability, and I would even say an intimacy, you know, that when you dance. So with this storyline and the character going on and everything that's happening in Zoe's life, how do you approach each number? I mean, do you work closely with Austin on the song selection, or do you go to him and say, I have this idea for this and this is what I want to do, and can we get this song? Or how? Because he kind of talked about how you guys clear the songs and everything, but how does it all come together? Do you work together to say, let's do this dance routine, it should be this song, or how does that all come in? Because I just think that the routines and the songs are so perfect for each, you know, sequence.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, first I'll say that I've never met anyone that I have worked with thus far in my career that I feel so closely aligned with than Austin. Because there's just something that he and I share, kind of the same creative brain, and we are very aligned tonally and how we see dance, how kind of also the music we like, and the stories we like to tell. So that we'll say that number one, I think, you know, 90% of it is just because he and I are kind of the same creative brain. It's very weird. I don't know how that happened. He's like a brother from another mother. Like, I don't know how that happened, but He, from early on, I credit him with understanding the importance of involving someone like me, if it was me or another choreographer, in the creative kind of groundwork of everything, because then I'm able to do my job a lot easier. I'm not guessing because I'm in on those kind of ground floor creative discussions. And he, I don't say that most of the time I come up with any music. Every once in a while, he'll like text me and say, "Hey, I need a song for Leaf or something," and I'll suggest something. But
Right.
he and the writers are so good, and they're like the way that he loves music. Also, he's got a really great ear for just good tunes that everybody knows and loves. Like he's a kid of the 80s like we are too. So
yes.
I think his musical sensibility is really, really fine-tuned, and I think really good. So he will put a lot of the songs into the outline and send me an outline very early, and then he and I will get on these phone conversations, or we'll do in person, and we kind of call them like dance concept meetings.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll just kind of word vomit out everything he thinks about something with a song, in a performance, something he sees, and that ignites something in my brain, and then I word vomit back at him, and we just have this collaboration where we'll go like, well, I think it's kind of this is a very intimate number. I want to feel this from the number. I always ask him, what do you want to feel? Because that's a big one for me, is
Definitely.
like, how is it, am I supposed to kind of giggle at this? Am I supposed to feel sad at the end of this? And then from understanding those like big emotional picture kind of moments, I can then start to figure out the vocabulary for the steps, and then starts my creative process. Basically, once I've extracted all information from Austin, then I go away and I just kind of marinate and go through a very ugly creative process, like most creative processes are. And then all of a sudden I like birth or like create this thing, and I'll send it back to him for notes, and then starts then that next little process of tweaking and making sure that it serves the story and that it's tonally right, and and then once we've kind of all agreed on what it is, then I teach the actors, and then once we teach the actors, it's go time. We go.
So good. And I mean, the dancing in itself, like the music is its own character, and the dancing is also its own character, I feel like. Especially it brings out so much emotion in these characters. So you're doing a phenomenal job. I love every second that I'm watching this show.
I mean, it's
Thank
true.
you.
We literally have conversations afterwards. Like we talked at least a half hour about the Billy Joel,
Yeah.
with Skylar and Jane with the Billy Joel. So I mean, that was so good. And then, okay, and I'm just gonna say it. Was it or was it not? At least in my mind, it was the crawl by Zoe across the floor in the very intimate, Dirty Dancing inspired, because that was very baby. That was very baby crawling along the floor, right?
For sure, of course. We know that's a great film, and
80s, and
yes. Well, and also it's so funny that things are born out of like necessity, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Honestly, she's on the other side of the room, and I need to get her over to Simon. So like, what is she going to do? Some big knee slide? Like,
right?
It's like, oh, she needs a crawl for sure. And she was like feeling that, so I loved it.
And another of our favorites, we have to bring it up. We totally made fun of Andrew. We had a great time with Andrew about it. Is when David and Alice, and she's wanting something, and he's oblivious.
Yeah.
What a great scene that was! Oh.
So good.
She was so good too, and I remember Andrew like trying to keep a straight face while of his head. She's like booty popping behind.
Yeah. That's exactly what we.
Love her.
Yeah, that's exactly what we told him too. Is like how you kept a straight face with that going on behind you, and Jane doing those faces in front of you. That was brilliant. I'm just like, I don't even have a clue how you kept it together. But so what?
Yeah,
and let me ask you, because for me, we talk about. And I think Logan too. I don't know, but for me, the family dynamic is my favorite part of the show. Whenever the family is together, especially Peter and Mary, I just think they're absolutely brilliant. And some of those scenes, the choreography in those scenes are just you bring a tear to your eye. Do you have one that's been the most challenging for you? A sequence that you were just like driven to get right that was difficult, or what?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we ended up doing 61 numbers over the season.
Wow.
So yes. And when I'm thinking back and kind of being able to watch them and with everybody else now, it's been really nice to like, oh, I remember that number back when I was tearing my hair out. the episode 8 with Zoe when she has her glitch, the crazy number was really difficult to understand tonally where we wanted to go with that one. So I would say that one was complex. It's never about steps for me until the very last moments, and then I create steps. It's always about trying to figure out emotion, tone, narrative, story, timing, tempo, cadence, feel, all those kinds of things that don't necessarily involve steps. And that particular scene was tough because I didn't want it to feel like help in the beginning. I didn't want it to feel like I got the music in me where she's Pied Piper and everyone's dancing with her. And the big thing was like, how do I physicalize crazy without it looking like a caricature?
Right.
What is crazy? Like the way you may think crazy looks on somebody may be totally different than the way I think about it. And are we going like banging your head against the wall crazy? Or are we going, I'm going crazy in my own skin? Or is it just crazy because it feels off a little? And so that's kind of where we ended up going. But that one was really tough. And ended up being one of my favorite numbers. Honestly, when we actually cracked the code, I really loved that number. And then I think there's one coming up in episode 11, and I don't want to give it away because I want you guys to be able to see it kind of for what it is. But there was one with Maggie and David and Zoe, and there's another group of kind of dancers that are around them, and it was a tough nut to crack. I'm not gonna lie. So I think it turned out really good actually, but it was again just tonally, and I guess that's the thing I love about Zoe is like it tonally dance lives in such different ways, even within each episode. It's last episode you had Sound of Silence, which had hardly any dance, but there's movement and timing.
Right.
Then you had the ASL number, which totally a different world that you would normally live in. You have Buttons from Emily, where it's like kind of funny, but also you're like, go get it, girl.
Yeah.
Right? And then you have Happier, where it's like a contemporary duet between these two people. I mean, I just love that it can go so many different ways within an episode.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny you brought up the word storytelling. Has that always been your approach? Is that something you've kind of gravitated to, working so closely with directors in the past, that you've kind of like incorporated that into your process, or was that something is that how you always approached it?
I found that as I've gotten further into my career, it's more and more important to me. I think as a young choreographer, I probably always subconsciously needed to answer, who, what, where, when, why. Like I needed to know what the story was, but maybe would have got lost in steps a little bit more than, now I can't create a single step until I know what we're doing. So for me, it's a lot more storytelling based. And I find that it's a lot more challenging than just coming up with steps that don't mean anything. But at the same time, I think you end up getting performances that feel very unique and of the moment and serve the story, which is, your job when you're in episodic. You have to serve the story. And, to be able to do that with dance is like, man, it is so fun, you guys. Holy smokes.
It's inspired me to dance. I want to get up right now. Like, honestly.
Good.
Yeah, no. The question is, can you teach? Because I cannot dance. I so want a ballroom dance, and I know I would get out there and just be a disaster. So I don't know. But
I think you would be great. And I do believe you can teach anybody how to dance. It just takes people different time frames, It's
Definitely.
Okay. We could do it.
There you okay. I'm gonna take you up on that. When I get back out there, it's gonna be like, okay, Mandy is gonna teach me to dance. It's gonna be great. Is there some challenging dancers with your cast? First of all, let me just say the cast is absolutely phenomenal from start to finish, and they all look like they've been dancing forever.
Yeah,
so kudos to you on that, because they all look like they're just like, oh no, I picked it up from birth. I've been able to dance forever. So it's like it's absolutely brilliant. Did you find some challenges? Were there some that were like, oof, I don't know, and then others that were just naturally gifted, or how's that?
Well, when we started, I learned this in La La Land and in Silver Linings, honestly. I've always been of the mindset that if I can get the team, the cast, to enjoy dance and love it, they've let a lot of their inhibitions out the door. And so I really try to create a space that is very like open, trusting, fun, like so that they can really get vulnerable, like we talked about, because dance is, and you can immediately feel, it's just like if you're singing, you hit a weird note and you go like, ooh, and you kind of like don't want to sing anymore.
Right.
People feel like that with dance. Like as soon as they feel awkward or they think a line looks weird, they shut themselves off. So a huge part of my world is just trying to make sure that it feels like a very enjoyable space to create and learn. And then it's really down to coaching. I know it sounds so weird, but I also don't fight the feeling. I got to be honest. Like, I create on them. So if they feel like they want to go to the right instead of the left, I'm not going to spend my time drilling them to go to the right instead of the left. You know, I kind of pick my battles with things, and I really try as a creator to find each and every person's way of moving. Because then it is like the perfect collaboration. It's not about the way I move. It's about the way that this character moves. How does Joan move? How does Joan move through the space when she's feeling this thing? And, you know, being able to create alongside these actors, like I said, it's just, that's when you get the magic. It's not when I go in and just dictate it has to be this, that, or this, you know?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I just, again, speechless. The whole collaborative effort is just amazing. I got to tell you. And we can't let you off the hook. We've been asking everybody this, and we need to know. Yeah. Team Max or Team Simon?
Oh, shoot. This is the thing, man. It's like, okay. So, I mean, on like the part of me that like feels, I just love, okay, shit, you guys, I can't say it, okay? Because I really love them both so much, and I love them for different reasons. And I have to say, I was Team Max until episode 5, when Simon did Should I Stay or Should I Go? And then I was like, so hot. Team Simon.
Bringing the sex appeal.
That's right.
Oh my gosh. I was like, he looks so good. And like their chemistry was so awesome. I was like, oh, shoot, I might be Team Simon. But then I was like, Simon, you need to get your stuff together. Sorry, I'm back to Team Max. So that's where it is for me.
All right. So she's a flopper, but that's okay. We totally get it. I mean, you know, come on.
I mean, even the part of me that wants to dislike Simon, I still really like him as a character, and he's just trying to figure everything out.
That's
really,
right.
Especially in like such a delicate time. Oh yeah, it's
my
crazy.
Gosh. Yeah. If Mo can't dislike him, then nobody can.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I
mean, Mo is the end all be all. Like, come on now. Oh my goodness. But I want to know about your creative process a little bit. How does that go? When you get the music, do you just kind of like start to dance it out, or do you put the pen to paper, try to write out the movements? How does that work?
I definitely, I'm more of a thinker, kind of heady creative person first, and then I physicalize. And I find that I have to bounce back and forth between those things many times within the creative process. So yeah, when I listen to music or I get an outline, I marinate in my brain forever, like probably obsessively. You know, I have to know every accent, every count, every feel that, you know, I really try to understand what I feel when I listen to the music. And then I just like throw all of that out the door and dance. And like I try to just come up with movement that can be the language and the vocabulary for the dance, and then I'll look at that with my team, and we'll kind of dissect it and go like, oh, that's a cool move. Maybe we could build. I have this weird way of like building whole numbers off of one move, because I kind of have to find like the signature thing, and then I can from that expand upon that idea. And, you know, like I said, I just go back and forth. Like there's times where I have to bar out the song, and I really think, and I sit and I ponder, and I hem and I haw. And then I just get up and start dancing just like you would think I would. And then there's times where I just have to sit back down, you know. So it kind of goes back and forth for sure.
Interesting. Okay, so I have a question too, because we're both this way, and I'm curious, from talking to you, I feel like you are too. How do you balance being a perfectionist and the passion?
Yeah.
Because that's the hardest thing that I have, and I know Logan has when we're talking and collaborating on projects and stuff. We're both perfectionists, so we want to think it and overthink it and redo it. But then we're so passionate, we'll just go with the creative side of it. Is that a tough challenge to balance, especially in what you do?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think, yes. Any of us that are perfectionists, we know each other. We can see each other a mile away. And you know, I learned a while ago, and this probably started on So You Think, because I would obsess about how my number did, or if it was the right choreography, or if I taught it right, or if they performed it right, and I found that I would just get in these holes. Like it's like a spiraling down where it's like you can't see it for really what it was, which is a moment in time. It's a creative thing that was made that was never there before. Like you just created something. So I learned a long time ago to just step away, like trust myself, to like really get in there and like fight the fight all the way up to the point it shot. And then as soon as it's shot, I gotta let it go. because that's all, of course I could watch every single thing I've ever created and be so critical of it. But then at some point you just have to be like, okay, well, that's what I did. I did my very best, and I made it from the most authentic place I could possibly have made it from. So that's all I can do. I can't do anything else. There's no formula.
Yeah, no, it's exactly. And you win an Emmy, but you're still your own worst critique, right?
Exactly.
Because it's like, no, that was awful. I could have done this or that, but everybody else says award winning.
For sure.
One more question before we get to wrap it up here. But executive producer, how are you liking that role? Are you liking that side of it? Because it's sometimes difficult also to balance, creative and suit. Do you like that side of it?
I love producing, and this is going to sound so weird probably, but I just like being able to be on the ground floor, and I like not having to. I don't do well when people that don't know what I do tell me how to do my job.
Yes.
So, we understand.
You know how it goes, and I started producing on Dancing with the Stars live television, and that. For me, I really liked being able to use both sides of my brain, because I'm also very odd that I like the organization and the kind of like cleanliness and the over big picture stuff of producing. But then I really like on the flip side to just be like, oh, I'm a creator. Oh, this is what I feel. And then being a choreographer and being able to be in I always call it like at the table, like being able to be at the table with the people that are making the thing that you're involved with, instead of just in the 11th hour being given something to make.
Right.
I just love doing that. And I love, having to be critical and observe and use kind of those other, I guess, ways of thinking that is just so different than when I'm in a room creating or coaching or teaching dance. I do like to worry about budgets and talk about how we're going to do something, or, we don't have the money for that, but can we be creative and try this? And, I just think it's a really fun place to be as a creator, because you're also you have a little bit more, I don't know if it's power, but you just have more input into the overall picture, So I love it.
Wow, great answer. Seriously. You fit right in. You could just step right up into the Crazy Ant Farm and be here forever.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's like, you are clearly in our mold.
Yeah.
Yes, I love this, guys. As soon as the quarantine thing lifts, we're gonna meet up.
Absolutely,
sure. Definitely. I gotta say, this has definitely been one of the more entertaining, fun conversations that we've had in a while.
Oh,
Absolutely.
good.
We love people who share the passion and just love what they do and are all about it. And it's fantastic. So we do have a lot of listeners that are up and comers in the business or trying to get into the industry. So I always like to have our guests give some advice, pass along a little bit of advice for people trying to get into the industry, and maybe some pitfalls to avoid, when they're trying to do it.
I think one of the things that's always worked for me, and my mom said this to me when I was very young, she told me you should never close doors until you absolutely have to. And that that's manifested into this, like, don't really ever say no unless you really need to say no, and I'm a yes person, probably to a fault, but I think it's helped me get to where I am because I was never afraid to take the job that maybe nobody else wanted, or dance for free for that person when other people felt it was below them. And those kinds of like saying yes to a lot of different kinds of opportunities and worlds really helped me in my career. And then on the second part of it is like showing up, showing up on time, having a good attitude. I just think having a good attitude and like enjoying what you're doing goes so far in this business, and people really underestimate it. Like you were just saying, I really like talking to you guys. This is fun because if we were ever going to work together, I want to feel like we have a connection. Like there's something cool that you're not going to come into work one day and just be like,
right.
Like, you like to do what you do, right? You have passion for it. And I think a lot of people forget along the way to like keep that passion and that joy about what you're doing, because that will get you so far.
It really will. That's a fantastic advice. I mean, we strive on that. It's like even on our worst day, look for the one good thing that happened that day and focus there, because there's always something good that happens. So
for sure. And there's always moments where it's like not great and you get told no, or someone tells you you suck or whatever. But it's like, you have to, in the end of it, just go like, okay, well, I'm doing my best, and I'm just gonna truck right along, and then like, hey, you do you, boo. I'll do me. So
yes,
there it is.
You do you, boo. That's a T-shirt.
Exactly, right there.
Well, and of course, we have to bring up, it's all about social media, and we want everybody to follow you, and your social media name is fantastic. So,
I love that you even understood it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Mandy Moore, come on, what's not to understand, right? It's brilliant.
Thank you.
So go ahead and tell everybody where they can follow you.
Yeah, they can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Nope Not Her. It looks like Nope Another or something.
It certainly does.
Another,
it does.
It's Nope Not Her.
So
and you'll see a weird little verified check. It is me. It's not the other Mandy Moore. So, yeah.
So
I loved it so much. We're putting it on the graphic for the show. Like, yeah, Nope Not Her. Yeah, it's so good.
Oh my goodness.
Thanks.
But thank you so much for taking some time out of your day during your quarantine day to come and have a fun conversation with us. We really enjoyed it.
Yeah, this is so nice to chat with people, and like, thank you guys for being fans. It really means a lot. We really love the show. So thank you for watching.
Oh, anytime, and more than welcome. Open invite. Anytime you want to come back to talk about the show or just to shoot the shit or, we'll discuss the 80s. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Open invite.
Guys. Yeah, and I'm pretty free right now, so I'm pretty into it. So whatever you want to do, I'm down.
We'll have an 80s movie night. It'll be fantastic.
Right, or we do like a top 5 segment on each one of our episodes. Maybe it could be like top 5 80s movies or something.
That's brilliant.
Yes, I would love that. I'm totally in. We are 80s kids, so let's do it.
Fantastic. Listen, have a great rest of the week. Have a great weekend and everything, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
See ya.
Okay, bye.
Wow, that was so much fun.
Yeah, she's just like us, man. She's just fun. She's so full of energy
and passionate about what she does. Literally every word that came out of her mouth was just so full of passion, energy, and just like ready to work on something else. Like, I love it.
Yeah, me too. Like the Energizer Bunny.
Yeah,
she was just like constantly going, know, and you need that.
Exactly.
You need that in this industry, and just the whole process. Though, great question about how it all comes together, and it's really interesting to hear how she puts it together.
Yeah.
And how the storytelling has become so much a part of it.
Exactly.
It's really fun to listen to. Great first choreographer.
Right? Exactly. She takes the title. She takes the reign.
She does.
Oh my goodness. Thank you again, Mandy Moore. Not that Mandy Moore, for coming on the show. All right, now it is time for the top 5 segment. Oh man, this one is so freaking difficult because there's so many great shows out there. But this week it is top 5 all-time favorite ensemble casts.
Yes. Ooh. Yes. And I had to go with I took very seriously all time. Because right now there are currently so many new shows or newish shows that I could just like unload with like 50 of them, with like all these shows that I'm watching, Zoe's and Council of Dads and Lucifer and like all these shows, and I'm thinking the Resident, they're all fantastic casts. Good. How can I do this? So I stuck with all time.
There you go.
There you go. I just want to preface that when everybody goes, oh shit, the old farts got the old shows, but I'm just like, all time.
Oh my goodness. Well, special guest, ladies first. Miss Rebecca, what you got for number 5?
Okay, so I'm going to preface this by also saying that I picked, because it's so difficult, because there are so many great shows on now.
It's true.
That I stuck with stuff that is no longer on.
There you go.
So that I don't, but I also have some like shout outs that, that are on now, if that's cool. So I'm gonna do my 5. Like, I have my 5, but I'm also gonna do like some, ones that are on now. That
your special co-host, you can change the rules when you and Autumn just totally screwed it up on the last time, and now that's our new format. So like, you just do whatever you want, Rebecca.
So am I just giving you one to start with, right?
Yes, number 5.
Okay. So I'm gonna go with Orange is the New Black.
Oh yes, it's a great cast.
So good.
I know. Like,
I mean,
I was sad.
My only regret is that I was not on it.
Yes. Oh my goodness, you should have been.
You should totally. I mean, I could totally see Becca as a convict. I mean, just and one with a shank.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
I will make you bleed.
It's unfortunate. Yeah.
I don't know what that says, but I totally see her with a shank gutting somebody. It's like
goodness.
great.
Let's just say she has a broad range.
Yes. Yes. All right.
I love it. I love it. For me, my number 5, I mean, Parenthood. Such a phenomenal cast. I mean, Lauren Graham, Dax Shepard, Craig T. Nelson, so many other ones that have seen the spotlight in that show. Just so good. That was honestly the first drama I ever watched and like cried every episode.
Yeah, yeah, without doubt. Without doubt. Brilliant pick. Brilliant pick. And you'll see why I think it's a brilliant pick coming up.
Yeah,
Number 5 for me, Frasier.
Yes.
I just absolutely love Frasier, my green eggs and ham. You know, I mean, best theme song, best just like everything about that show. I just, Kelsey Grammer and David Hayden Jones and like all these people that were just like brilliantly cast.
Yeah.
Jane Levy, like they're just so good. So good.
I agree.
And I really like the way it expanded Frasier's character off of Cheers. I always thought, we were talking about this earlier, I always thought he was kind of underutilized on Cheers, and you could just tell the potential was there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, one of my all-time favorites.
Agreed. Rebecca, what you got for number 4?
Well, I think Parenthood was also a brilliant choice because I also chose it.
There we go. Yeah.
It's funny because I wrote mine down before I saw your email, and I was like, oh.
No, it's all good. It just shows how great of a show it was.
That's right.
Good mind. I know. I actually came into it later. I didn't actually watch it while it was on. I found it once it hit Netflix. I don't know, for whatever reason, I just was doing something else whenever it started, and then you feel like you're behind, and then it's like impossible to catch up. And then once it was all on Netflix, I watched the whole thing, and it was just so good.
Yeah, I mean, same for me too. I binge watched it on Netflix and then had to wait for the final season to come on. But once it did, it was so good. So good. All right, my number 4, Amazon Prime original, Marvelous Miss Maisel. Such phenomenal writing, man, and just so the filmmaking and the color tone, and it's just amazing. So good, such a great cast. Like everything about this show is just brilliant, especially in the 3rd season when they brought Sterling K. Brown. I was like, so good. I just love this show. Yeah,
Amy Sherman Palladino has like this brilliant knack of bringing the perfect people together for like a show. I still can't wait to see Lauren Graham pop up on there. She says she's working hard to try to find a way to bring her into that show, so I can't wait for that. It's going to be awesome.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. My number 4, I think, one of the best casts ever assembled on TV. This is one of the only shows I can legitimately say I would literally laugh out loud every episode. Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
I just thought, we talked about it earlier, I'm a huge fan of Kaylee Cuoco, but I just literally thought that entire cast could not have pulled those characters off any better than they did.
I agree.
Absolutely brilliant. They made nerds cool. I mean, think about it. They made nerds cool. Everybody wanted to be them. And when you can do that and have a cast do that, that's something cool.
I agree, man. I agree. Oh, my goodness. So many good shows.
Yes.
All right, Rebecca, what you got for number 3?
I also chose Big Bang Theory.
Yes. So good.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much everything you said. Like,
I'm excited.
Quote unquote nerdy stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Making it cool and a lot of stuff. It's like, oh yeah, I want to try that. And so I've played Dungeons and Dragons now, and I've done a lot of stuff that I watched on the show. So, shout out to the show for opening my horizons.
There you go.
There you go. So good. All right, for my number 3, I got Grey's Anatomy, the OG crew.
Yes.
Going way back.
Like season 1.
Season 1.
Yeah.
When everybody is just new to the game. And it's so good. So good. I mean, obviously, so many cast members have changed in and out throughout the years. I mean, obviously, 16 seasons now.
Right.
It's insane. But, yes, the OG crew of Grey's Anatomy. And, I mean, I got to say, Patrick Dempsey. Best character. Just saying. How did we know your man crush would make an appearance? Of course he would. Of course you had to bring it up. He's just so good.
Hey,
so good. I'm just saying.
Well, number 3 for me, I think we've discussed this in great length already, but I'm going to say it again. Parenthood.
Yes.
That should tell everybody who's listening to this podcast right now or watching us on YouTube, watch Parenthood.
Yes.
If you have not. I mean, come on. Mae Whitman, she's just absolute. Miles Hauser.
Yeah.
Did you know that Michael B. Jordan was on? Yes, that Michael B. Jordan was on there. Like so many people came through there, and the storylines were just, I was with you. I literally cried almost every episode.
Yeah.
And I thought it was so brilliantly done. Like, even though from like season 3 on, you knew Zeke was gonna die.
I know.
It was still terrible when he died.
It's so sad.
I was just like, no.
Still bawled my eyes out.
Yeah, just him sitting in that recliner at the end. Now I blew it for anybody who hasn't watched it, but I don't care. It's so worth it. The lunchbox with the music and all the musicians that were on the show, just everything about that show I loved.
So good. All right, Rebecca, what you got for number 2?
So I'm throwing it way back to Lost.
Oh, okay.
Lost.
J.J. Abrams.
Oh, yes.
I know everyone hated the last episode, but as a whole, I thought the show was just like brilliant.
I would totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
And the acting was so good, and like just them as a team, like, yeah. I mean, so.
So good. I still need to watch that one as well. I haven't watched that one either.
Any of it?
Any of it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Man.
You have like we had to wait every week, which was like torture.
Right.
But now you have you're just gonna want to keep watching. That's what was so brilliant. It's like I was like, oh, I gotta watch the next episode.
Right. And like, oh, I can't wait to watch your just frustration, because they'll mention something in like episode 1 or 2, and you'll go a whole 2 seasons and they never bring it back up, and you're like, when the fuck are they gonna talk about this?
Yeah.
Like you get there, but oh my god, this show was like so frustrating to watch. Sometimes you're like, what is going on?
Oh my goodness.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, and oh my god, the Lily, just so many. Evangeline Lilly, you know, just the whole cast is just brilliant.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, definitely gonna have to go back then.
Good choice.
And then my number 2, I think one of the biggest dramas out right now, This Is Us. Just every single week brings you some great things to talk about, whether it be racial stuff, Alzheimer's, like anxiety, just so much things to talk about, and try to put yourself in that position. I think this is why that show is so freaking amazing. It's because somebody has been in their shoes at least one point in time in their lives.
Right.
So it's just phenomenal show with phenomenal casting. I mean, Sterling K. Brown, Justin Hartley, and Mandy Moore. Like,
I could watch him read a phone book.
I know.
I mean, the whole cast is great, but he is just superb.
Yeah, I would agree with that wholeheartedly. And I'm a huge Justin Hartley fan, because I am a geek. I mean, I remember him all the way back when he was Green Arrow, before Green Arrow was even on, when he was on Smallville as Green Arrow, or the Aquaman attempted pilot at Aquaman. I've always been a fan of him, and I think he absolutely slays it on This Is Us.
Yeah.
And to Dan Fogelman's credit, like I said with Amy Sherman Palladino, I think he just brilliantly chose these people to play these characters. I just don't think you could have done any better with the casting.
Agreed.
My number 2, Suits. Huge fan of Suits. I just think Gabriel Macht and just all of them. Patrick J. Adams, like Sarah Rafferty. I could go on. Izzy from Grey's Anatomy was on the last couple seasons of it. I just thought this show and a look at corporate law and like the way they approached everything, and were somehow able to work in life, just storylines that dealt with everything that you could imagine. I just thought it was absolutely brilliant, and I want a Donna. I say this over and over and over again, but Donna, Sarah Rafferty as Donna, that character was just brilliant. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. She was awesome. I would love for her to come on the show too. She just kicks ass. But Suits, one of my all-time favorites.
So good. All right, Rebecca, who you got for number 2?
No, that was number 2. Number 1.
All right, number 1. Yes, I can't keep count.
It's Lost. You're lost.
I'm lost at the moment. I'm so lost. I don't know.
Can't forget Friends.
Yes. I agree.
No.
I agree, because that is also my number 1 pick. Friends is by far like the best show ever. Like, have all the Funkos. I got the freaking the whole series collection with the outtakes, and it's just such a great show.
I would agree.
Yeah.
And like,
I mean, I still watch the reruns on TV. It's like too. On all the time. And I still laugh even when I know the jokes are coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, do you recite them? Because Logan and Emily recite them. Yes. They I swear they've seen the entire series at least 35 times.
At least.
It's
so good.
All right.
So good.
All right. Well, while I agree, Friends is awesome,
it's
and
great.
A huge fan, and I was old enough to watch it in the original run. The West Wing.
Yes.
I think to this day, still the single best ensemble cast that was ever assembled for television.
Yeah.
I just now maybe that's Sorkin's writing, I don't know, or their acting, or whatever the chemistry was. I just think that cast, brilliantly led by the awesome Martin Sheen.
Yeah.
Just, Bradley Whitford and Richard Schiff, and just like all of them, just absolutely amazing. It's probably one of my, if not my all-time favorite series, but so definitely my cast.
Definitely.
And when you look at those cast members and the amount of them that went on to have other huge shows and other huge projects, it shows you the caliber that came off of that show. So The West Wing.
So good.
That's my friends. I've watched that thing like so many times I can't even tell you. I'm always addicted to it. Whenever I get in a rut, I'm going back to West Wing and watching it again. So
definitely.
Just brilliant.
So many good shows, guys. I mean, what are your top 5 shows? Anybody who's watching this video out there or listening to the podcast, what are your top 5 favorite ensemble casts, I should say? Because, I mean, there's just so many great actors in this entertainment industry mecca that just kill it every episode. So.
And that's the and maybe you can speak to this too, Rebecca. That's why I like the SAG Awards so much.
Yeah,
because they recognized cast achievement.
Exactly.
Because could you imagine one of these shows that we were talking about without one of the cast members? You couldn't do it.
No.
So to recognize the entire cast and their effort together, I just think is so important.
Agreed.
That's why I have to give my shout out, because I did like all shows that aren't on anymore.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But also, of course, like SVU.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I have to give them a shout out. And any of the Shondaland shows, Grey's Anatomy, been watching that forever. So I mean, there's so many. I've been watching The Middle in the afternoons,
so
while I'm home.
Yeah.
When it's on, and like there's so many great shows that the cast. It's like the core cast they're just incredible.
Absolutely.
It's hard to pick. It was really hard to choose.
I know.
It
was
really hard, man.
Oh my goodness.
Good choices, though.
Yes,
good
seriously.
choices.
Great top 5 segment. But now it is time for the IMDb Pro Top Trending segment. Oh man, we love this app. We literally I don't know what that was. We literally use it to stack up our industry news every single week. If you're an actor trying to break into the entertainment industry, this is like a one-stop shop for you. You can reach out to agents, managers, anything like that, just to build more contacts. You can see what movies are in development, pre-production, production, post-production, all that good stuff. It's just such a great app for such a reasonable price.
Yeah, box office results, everything. Literally everything.
Exactly.
Is at your fingertips on that app.
Agreed, man.
$19.99.
I know.
Not a
so
bad
good.
price.
So good. Top trending movie this week is Extraction. Netflix with Chris Hemsworth and the Russo brothers.
The Mighty Thor.
I know. I want to see this one. I haven't yet.
No, I mean, but Chris Hemsworth running around saving a kid sounds epic.
I know, right?
I mean, who doesn't want Thor to save them?
I know.
I'm just saying. And the Russo brothers.
Yeah.
I like how I saw a little quote from them saying that they're making an effort to work with all of the Avengers on individual projects and everything. So and we saw the one they got coming with Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Looks like badass.
So
crazy,
good. So good. Have you seen Extraction yet, Rebecca?
No, I haven't yet, but I want to.
Yeah.
Probably check it out maybe this weekend.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, it looks good.
It really does. Well, the top trending TV show is still Netflix, man, killing it right now, and still Money Heist. This one's supposed to be really good as well. So, I mean, we really need to hop on this bandwagon.
I know. We have not seen it yet. So, I feel bad.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, everybody's talking about it, and I'm like, nope, can't get in on that conversation yet.
I know. There's just so much good content out there right now. It's crazy.
It's true. I mean, I don't know. I'm almost done with Lucifer, though.
There you go.
Almost done. And I love that show.
Yeah.
I was just so impressed.
Definitely.
Impressed with Lucifer. That had nothing to do with the IMDb top tenders, but I'm just putting that
go
out there.
watch Lucifer.
Go watch Lucifer.
Oh my goodness. And then still the top trending star from the amazing series Ozark is Julia Gardner. She is killing it.
She is, man. I'm telling you, every week we talk about her, but she is just slaying.
I know.
And I can't say it enough. If you haven't watched The Americans yet, first of all, The Americans was just epic.
Yeah.
But yeah, her role on The Americans and what she was able to do on that, while limited, was just, you could tell right away this one was going to boom.
Yeah.
You could tell she was going to do something. So
I agree.
I see that. I can see why she's top trending.
Oh yeah, for sure. She is amazing. Well, guys, this was a huge, great, amazing show for episode 111.
I know, just a regular old 111, but we had a bunch of epicness.
I know, a bunch of epicness. I mean, of course, we got to thank our guest, Mandy Moore, for coming on the show once again. And then, of course, our forever guest, special co-host, Rebecca Kennedy. We got to thank you. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to do this.
Oh, thank you for having me. I have so much fun with you guys.
Oh yeah, good. It's always a blast, and you're so informative.
Yeah.
You always bring knowledge, but then you're always so fun and like, sometimes we get like, okay, that was really good. They're really like dropping knowledge in there, but and it's like, And then other times we get one that's like completely a blast and have so much fun, and then we're like, but we're not really saying anything of substance. And then we get Rebecca, who's got it all.
I got it all. She's like the whole package.
You guys are the best.
8 times. You're coming close to double digits. Can you believe that? It's gonna be awesome.
I know. It's crazy.
It's gonna be so good.
I love it.
Oh my goodness. But guys, be sure to follow us on social media at Crazy Ant Media on any social media platforms. Rebecca, where can they follow you at?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Rebecca Kennedy, REBEKAH, for anyone that's going to spell it wrong. And
it's the only way to spell it,
exactly.
Because everyone will. Or on Instagram, I'm at Becca, BEKAHK, because my name was taken when I tried to sign up. So.
Bastards.
I know, like, what's that?
Yeah,
I think once you get the blue check mark, like, the other person needs to give up the name. I'm just saying.
It is kind of crazy. But be sure to follow us on social media as well. Myself at JLoFantastic and
Crazy Ant Guy 1970.
That's right. And you can subscribe to this podcast anywhere you listen to your podcast: Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio. You can watch us on YouTube, and we're basically everywhere.
Stitcher,
guys.
Podbean, just like you name it, we're there.
Exactly.
I mean, you can't forget we're pinners.
Exactly, pinning stuff.
I have an epic 1980s and Saturday morning cartoons pages on Pinterest. I'm just saying. I'm nostalgic. I'm just gonna say it.
It's a great freaking app. I mean, we were sleeping on it for so long, but it's so good.
It is. It's so true.
Good. And of course, be sure to visit our website, crazyantmedia.com, for anything you need to know about Crazy Ant Media, our projects, our podcast, our weekly updates, anything like that. And then, of course, our merch. You guys know you can buy some great ass merch on crazyantmedia.com. It looks so good. And now, of course, it's time to reflect the episode. I think my favorite part was Rebecca Kennedy being on the show.
Agreed. I mean, it's hard to top that. It's like when you look back at the whole episode, what's the best part? Rebecca.
Yeah,
like being on the show.
I mean, I'm biased and I agree.
I love it.
It's true. I really did enjoy the interview also with Mandy because, talking the whole thing with the extraordinary thing about Zoe's and how it's taken off. And, of course, 80s.
Yeah.
I love 80s.
I mean, of course.
But, you're old. And I just, but it's hard to beat Rebecca. It is. It's spelled the right way.
Exactly.
Spelled the right way. Yes.
I love it.